This is Cody, and I never listen to Not Take.
The following program contains material that is just too cute. Viewer discretion is advised.
You know how I normally ask like my silly questions that are sort of like a setup for a joke at the end of it?
Yes, I do. I do know how you normally do that.
You
Yes.
know how I normally do that?
Yes, I'm aware of this.
Hold on, my laptop, which is the soundboard, says that it's dying because I never plugged it in. So hopefully we make it through a show. At least we got an intro out of it. Well, no, we still got to get an intro out of it.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like a this could have been like a game at the end of the Friday show,
Okay.
but I figured it's a good icebreaker.
Sure.
Look, Alan, we are a serious news podcast.
Very serious. Very, very serious.
And I am going to just peel back at that serious a little bit because I think that's part of what makes it so charming is that, like, normally we're really serious, but every once in a while we let our hair down. Hey, comb my hair, do it, I dare. Whoa,
Let's go, girl.
Oh, remember the song?
Yes, I do.
Because the meme is come in my hair, do it, I dare. And I don't know what she really says now because that's all I can hear. Comb in my hair, do it, I dare. Whoa. It can't be combing my hair. It can't be combing my hair, right?
Combing my
She's
hair.
just bragging about, I get to comb my hair because I'm a girl and I do what I want.
Let's go, girl.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's totally what it was. Mhm.
Okay. So I'm gonna let my hair down a little bit. You know, part the kimono slightly, like that.
Oh, little cleavage.
And join the Patreon. And we're gonna get a little silly to start the show, and then we're gonna work ourselves back into being a little more serious. Okay. Mm-hmm. So do you ever do that thing where like you hear a song and you've heard it 1,000 times, and so like your brain just starts changing the lyrics around? Does everyone do this, or does only people with ADHD like me do this?
I do it.
Okay. Especially like when you worked in retail and there was like the songs that you were guaranteed to hear 3 hours in a 10-hour shift. Mm-hmm. 3 times in a 10-hour shift.
If not more than that, yeah.
Yeah. And we had a long enough retail career that there were songs that you heard at the beginning of your career that got faded out. Like you used to hear a lot more like, if you get caught between the moon and New York City.
Right.
That one doesn't play anymore, but that used to play all the time. That was
all
heavy
the time.
rotation.
Yeah.
And I think there was a Bee Gees song that might come up in this list that I remember hearing all the time there. But there was a lot of good Bee Gees songs, I in my opinion. I like the Bee Gees. You a Bee Gees fan?
Not really. We were at that Airbnb this last weekend.
Bee Gees.
And they had a record player and a whole bunch of records. And they had like 5 or 6 Bee Gees records. And I was like,
well, they're Aussies. Maybe, was it an Aussie household?
Not that I know of.
Aussies.
No. Speaking of retail music, I worked in a store one time where, you know how the thing was supposed to download new music like occasionally?
Yeah.
And like sort of rotate the track so it wasn't always the same.
Yeah.
Ours got stuck and it played the exact same like 20 songs
in order.
Just
oh,
like
no.
I would know what time it was based on the song that was playing.
I hated that. Was that a Bed Bath? What was that? A Staples?
That was a Marshalls.
Oh man,
it was so bad.
No
Finally,
way.
And like none of us knew what to do about it. And finally, like I think somebody complained to corporate.
You did this to people in ISIS, like
somebody complained to corporate, and then they fixed it for us. But it just gotten stuck somewhere in the download process.
Funny.
Yeah.
God, oh, that's horrible. That's a hell.
It was pretty bad.
That was a version of retail hell. Like,
that was torture.
And it was like every day, right? How long did this go on for?
Months.
Oh no, I don't like this. Okay.
It was horrible.
So I started my truck today, and I don't know if your Bluetooth does this weird thing where it's like if you don't connect it, it's like never mind. You probably want the radio on, and it just like blares the radio at you.
Oh no, mine doesn't do that. No.
So my work truck does this. My car doesn't because it does wireless. But on my work truck, if I don't connect the USB within like a time, it's like you probably want the like I can't do anything to fix this. I will turn off the knob, but it's a push button knob. It's not like a real. It's not like an actual switch. Like it's just I think it has like a latching circuit or something. So like it like resets every time the car starts. So it's not truly off if I turn it off.
I understand.
So, and I hate this feature. and it's like, I don't care what it's set to because it's never on that and I forget to change it. So it's like some weird AM channel. So it's a lot of like heavy like sound in the background while it's doing it. And today it was playing You've Lost That Love and Feeling, the Top Gun song, right?
Ah, okay.
And I started changing the lyrics in my head immediately. It's like I'm a child, so it's but. I just changed it to but. We had a but but you don't find every day. And that's kind of funny. But then I started chuckling to myself because I was like, so bring it on back, bring it on back, bring it on back,
Yeah.
bring it on back, baby. Okay, so you're about bringing the butt back, right?
I get it.
And I was like, well, that one's kind of funny. It's not that funny, but I wonder if there's funnier songs that you can replace love with butt. So I've titled this segment Funky Butt Lovin' in honor of Rookie of the Year, the kids movie where the doctor says funky butt lovin'. I assume to bypass the censors. It was probably the worst thing that you could have said in a kids movie. I mean, they said that in the trailer. Like that wasn't like I haven't even seen that.
And that
movie.
was spotlighted, yeah.
That was like a scene that, like when they explain how his arm is broken and it can only wing a fastball. The doctor goes funky butt loving on TV every time it was a commercial for that. So anyways, talk about things that are stuck in your mind since the 90s. We played that clip in the hidden track. Okay, so I've got a list of songs. Now I'm going to start off with titles and then I'm going to move on to ones that are funny enough with the titles, but it's really the lyrics that win it for you. Okay.
Okay.
Should I regret this?
No, don't. You gotta sell it.
This is the way you say. Yeah, Kyle. Yeah, this is a good idea. Okay. Did you familiar? Do you like Elton John?
Of course,
Do you
big
like
fan.
Huey Lewis? Can you feel the butt tonight?
It's pretty good.
From The Lion King. You know?
Yeah, that's pretty
the
good.
lyrics. I don't know. So, but that's a good. Can you feel the butt tonight? A whole lot of butt by
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. A whole lot of butt. Which you know,
Whole lot of
if you're
button.
into that- If you're into that, I'm into that. This one's a little darker. It kind of reminds me of Requiem for a Dream, the last scene of it. It's but instead of Love to Love You by Donna Summers, it's Butt to Butt You.
Butt to butt.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, that's a dark scene. That's a real dark scene. All You Need Is Butt by John Travolta. Who's that? All You Need Is Butt.
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
Yeah.
John Lennon,
John Lennon. Yes.
not John Travolta.
No.
Oh, this one's fun for me. Drunken Butt by Beyonce. Which is a good trick because here's the deal. Can't be too drunk because it takes a certain amount of talent to, can't be
Sure.
fooling around back there. It's serious business.
Right.
Oh, God. People came here for news.
We'll get to the news, you guys.
Well, we always start off with yucks.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Alan, do you like Huey Lewis?
Of course.
Wait, wasn't the line, Alan, do you like Huey? He killed Paul Allen with a, hey, Paul, do you like Huey Lewis?
Yes, it was. Paul.
This is an American Psycho reference. The Power of Butt. It's the power of butt. Now, the lyrics, not so much, but that's a good line, you know?
It's a good line. Yeah.
Okay. Bring Me a Higher Butt by Steve Winwood. Steve Winwood. And only because I want to make a rule about the lyrics here. Look inside your butt and I'll look inside mine. That was a good one.
That's pretty good.
I love Higher Love. Okay, I'm gonna get to ones where it's the lyrics that really take this for us. You know the Meatloaf song, and I would do anything
Yeah, of course.
for, but
But I won't.
I won't do that.
Right.
Okay, that's
Pretty good, pretty good.
Okay, that's number 3. And number 2 in our top 3 list is "Bleeding Love" by Leona Lewis.
Oh, no, I don't like this.
Yeah, so you know the lines in this? That was one that played in retail a lot. That might have been on your repeat list. I keep bleeding love, keep bleeding love, and you're gonna replace love with something else, and I don't
Right.
have to use that one. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
How deep is your? The number one song is the Bee Gees smash. How deep is your butt? I really mean to learn, 'cause we're living in a world of fools breaking us down. Y'all should help us build. How deep is your butt? I really need to learn, Alan. Not yours.
Not mine? Okay, that's good.
I don't need to learn. I'm curious now. I wonder if Bull Moose knows. Let's see if he responded on that. I'll tell you, guys, you got to join the Patreon to find out. There's been a lot of curiosity going on. No, he has yet to respond. No. So, guys, if you're from the Patreon and you're joining us here on the Big Show, Bull Moose has yet to tell us more details about his 8-inch penis, but he wanted us to know. So, curious
I wonder
minds
if it's
are asking.
detachable, like that song. Remember this?
Yeah, he saw it down at the on a blanket where they sell things.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, well, do you want to start the show with...
Let's start the show.
Okay, this is somehow related, sort of related. Remember last week's episode, we were talking about Reiki
Horse Reiki. Yeah.
Horse Reiki.
Sure.
Would you and describe Reiki to the?
It's where you use your aura, your vibe to like.
Yeah,
heal.
but what part of your body do you like? Is the major part of this?
Your hands, usually the person's hands. Yeah.
You might describe Reiki as a hand job.
Sure. I will be at the shop today and tomorrow. So if you want to come in for a healing, it's pay what you can. Also, please don't come after 6 p.m. because I will be doing the art class for multiple mediums where I make you do creative things. There's no charge for that class. Additionally, please do not ask me for a happy ending, ever, for Reiki or otherwise. Reiki is not hand jobs.
Don't let me in his damn house.
Should we hit record?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Why is that funny?
All right, you ready?
I am ready. Are you recording?
Yes.
A lot of whiskeys, if that's what I fucking.
All right. You want to start a show?
Let's start a show.
That podcast is filling your head with garbage.
No offense taken there.
Well, it sounds like none taken.
Boom! Welcome to episode number 556 of Not Taken, the internet's only debate and current events show. Two political nomads from two different worlds. Shout out to Reverend Payton's Big Damn Band for use of their song Ways and Means for intro music. Thank you all for joining us. Time of this recording, it is Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. It's a great day for America. We are two coastal elites here to recap another week of current events and share way too much of our tragic personal life and taking a sledgehammer to the culture war echo chambers. Oh wait, I got a button for this. Coming to you from the shores of the mighty Cumberland in Madison, Tennessee. I'm your host, Dustin. I'm your host, Cred. And right over there, 2,400 miles directly to my northwest, my good friend Alan, the Nature Boy Smith. Please subscribe right now wherever you're listening to this. I'm changing Dustin to Baggy to Cred on here because I go by Cred now. There we go. I'll read whatever's on the sheet. You guys, there's no way that we can pay to get people to find out about the show. It's just ads don't really promote nonpartisan podcasts. They like hacks and people that manipulate your political feelings and who you hate and outrage cycles and all that kind of stuff. But what does work is if you fellow reasonable people tell the other reasonable people that you talk to about politics and culture and stuff like that, there's a podcast that you think we might overlap about. And I get a little bit. It's a personal thing. You don't want to like expose, like, I don't know, this guy opened up his show talking about butt. You know, I get it. Maybe this wasn't the time to do that. Now, in hindsight, I don't know. This is the time that I ask your friends to try it out. But
maybe they'll be into that. Who knows?
I would think that they would.
Yeah.
Like, look, if you laughed at that, then trust your friends. We're in the trust tree. We're doing a little fun here, and the only way this show grows really is from you telling your friends about it. I want you to tell your friends about me. I'm Batman. Remember that from the first Batman, the Michael Keaton Batman?
Yeah.
Who are you? I'm Batman. Wait, here's the thing. Here's the big plug. Head on over to nonetaken.horse. There's where you subscribe to the Patreon. You join the Patreon. You can see all the hidden track. You can watch the videos of everything that we do before the show. And this show. This show itself is on the hidden track, is on the Patreon. But we also do the hidden track. We talked about Trump's Hotel Transylvania. We talked a little bit about the Iran war stuff that we're not going to do in the big show here. I got a lore mega mix that Natasha sent in. Some Groundhog Day facts.
That lore video was pretty cool. That was good.
It was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun with that. Why Hannity doesn't live in New York anymore? That was fun. The French. Why don't they like why we don't like the French apparently? Yeah. Well, we have a lot of fun in the hidden track. It's just more cho. So if you like this show, you get more show there. And it's $3 a month. You can join at higher levels if you would like to, but you get access to the hidden track at any level of Patreon support that you do it. And again, the website to support the show is nonetaken.horse. That's a real website. If you type those words in, it'll take you to a real website. And there's other things Alan's going to tell you about.
Yeah, nonetaken.horse for all your none taken horse needs. You can hit up our merch store over there. There's some cool merch for you to buy. All our socials are over there. All the RSS feeds are over there. Everything you need none taken's over there at nonetaken.horse. Also, don't forget, support the people that support us. Slickestdigital.com for all your SEO and marketing needs. Slickestdigital.com. Also, JeffHancockPhotography.com.
Yes.
For all your
photography needs.
Yes, for all your photography needs.
He takes pictures of birds.
Well, other things as well, but birds.
Yeah, he'll do. I don't know. Maybe he'll do horse boudoir photography.
If you want your Reiki session photographed, I'm sure he can manage that.
He took great pictures of my wife and her friends getting naked when he came out for her.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. He's a great photographer. He's all joking aside. He's a great photographer.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
Yeah. I think if you type in like none taken, you get a discount. Ask me if you're curious, and I'll direct you to Jeff Hancock Photography, or find his Instagram, Jeff Hancock Photography.
Yeah, do that. All right, dude, I had a really good weekend this weekend.
I look forward to you telling me about your weekend because mine sucked. So please tell me all about your time.
Yeah, we headed down to Astoria, Oregon. It's my parents' 30th wedding anniversary, so fam got together. We hung out. Just a lovely time, dude. Friday it rained, but like we were there for like a 3-day weekend, and like Saturday, Sunday, Monday were like perfect. It was like 50 degrees, partly cloudy, sunny most of the time. Just for this time of year and for where we are, like that's awesome. That's gorgeous. They had a nice little like outdoor area with like a fire pit. We had a nice little fire. We had some dinner downtown.
How did you already say how far were you from the actual coast?
Oh, so we were actually right on the Youngs River, which is
you're on the river.
Yeah. So there's two rivers, right? The Columbia and the Youngs go into the Sound, I guess, right there. So like a mile from the coast, I guess. We went down.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you're like at a delta.
Yeah. Yeah. So we drove up a couple miles and went to a beach. Did a little lap around the beach. It was nice. It was great, beautiful. And then we went to Long Beach on the way back. Which no, there's a Long Beach up here. It's like it's supposed to be. The marquee above the thing when you go there says it's the longest beach in the world. I don't know.
I don't believe so, but okay.
Anyways, we went there. You can drive on that beach. Yeah, so that's fun.
Like in Lethal Weapon, where he has his camper there.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Okay, exactly just like Lethal Weapon.
Exactly like that. Went to a couple dive bars. That's where the shirt is from.
I was gonna say I like your shirt. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. That's a cool looking shirt.
This is from the Maritime Bar. You get it? Maritime for maritime.
Oh, I do now.
Yeah. And there's a picture of there's a mermaid that they have. It's like their bar mascot, but she's got a real ugly face. And so that's the picture on the front of the shirt. It's Astoria is like all Goonies all the time, even though
Astoria is where they filmed Goonies.
Where they filmed Goonies.
They don't say we're in Astoria when they do Goonies, right? The Goonies aren't like here we are in Astoria. I
don't think they say it, but it's known.
I have a dumb question. Is that Spielberg?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, when you're driving around Astoria, you're like, oh, this is clearly where the Goonies was.
These are where the Fratellis were. Yeah. This is where Chunk was telling his whole life story.
Right.
Yeah.
But they really love their Goonies down there.
That's cool.
It's
was
really
there a
cool
cave? Did you explore a cave?
I did not explore any caves.
Did you have Short Round there or the guy from Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No, did not have either of those. But yeah, their downtown's really cool. If you go, there's a really cool restaurant called Hurricane Ron's. Hurricane Ron's, excellent food, really cool. I think the owner's also the chef.
Like it's good food. That sounds like a greasy. What? Tell me, Hurricane Ron's?
Yeah, it's like seafood. I had a hurricane chowder, but they have like clams and they have all kinds of stuff. It feels a little bit like you're in a tiki bar.
I like.
Yeah. The owner's wife.
You like good food, so I do trust you. But
the food's really good.
Does not sound like.
I know it sounds like a Margaritaville or some shit, right?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's not that at all.
Can you do that for the rest of the show? I just feel like I've got like 85% brain.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, I can attempt to do that for the rest of the show.
Okay.
Anyways, man, what'd you get up to?
I still have no update from Moose.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Mima saw this though in the group, and he's like, "Get him on the show." And I said, "Moose, come on the show." So I might plug the phone in, get harassed by a white supremacist for a bunch of months. So I was on call this weekend, and I made a big fuck 'em up. I was on call from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I was also on call Monday. Oops.
Was this
Which, like-
scheduled, or you like switched with somebody, or?
So I was on call for Monday, and then we had a guy. He had another job, and so this weekend became available. And he's like, "Does anybody want to take this weekend?" I was like, "Well, I'm about to go on a very expensive vacation, so you
Might
guys
as
will
well
take this
bank a
weekend."
little bit, yeah.
And I was like, "Ah, shit, that's 4 in a row. That's
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but typically a Monday after a weekend on call is kind of easy, especially because like I've dealt with the problems over the weekend, and I can go into the week. But man, this weekend was rough, dog. So I did 4 15-hour days in a row.
Fuck.
Wasn't so bad getting double time on Sunday. That was.
I bet. Yeah.
So whenever I have one of those shifts, I do a little calculator and then I take a screenshot and I send it to Natasha. I'm like, this is
why I'm doing this. This is
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And after 4 of those days in a row, I decided I'm going to treat myself, and I you know what? I earned it. I
Yeah.
earned it.
What'd you buy?
Well, I haven't yet. I'm going to wait for a good one. I'm going to make for a good deal. And Natasha earmuffs. Okay, you think she's listening?
I'm sure she is. Yeah.
It's shmay shmay shmorty shmevin.
Shmay shmay shmorty shmevin.
Yeah, they're less expensive than you'd think. And if you haven't figured it out, yeah, that sounds fun. Huh?
See, I was thinking you were talking about the president. Maybe you're getting a gold coin or something. 47 being,
Let her think whatever she wants. Don't connect those dots for the internet, though. Okay.
Okay. All right, sure.
Yeah. So I would wait for a good deal on it, but dude, like this paid back all the money for the vacation. This was not a scheduled on call shift.
Right.
So the money for the vacation was like spent, whatever. It's fine. It's only money. It's why we earn it, so we can do dumb things like this. But this like paid for a lot of it, like plus the toy. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
Can we do a little bit of show housekeeping?
Sure.
So I'm still upset about this.
I know.
Friend of the show, Adam Burke, he's a very busy man. He keeps canceling on us the last minute, so he will not, in fact, be on the show tomorrow, which means we have an opening. And I don't know why I would say this live if it doesn't work out, but I'm going to ask you. I should have asked you in between episodes.
Oh.
Should I send an email to Buzz Burbank and ask him if he can jump on last minute?
Oh, wow.
Huh?
I mean,
Are you not prepared?
I
We
mean-
can just do a headline show with him. Or do you want to do that closer to birthday season? Because that one should definitely not live entirely on the Patreon. I don't know. That's a
Right.
good sell for the Patreon, though.
I think we do it closer to birthday
Like the
season.
week before birthday season?
And it almost feels rude to just ask him the day before. I know.
Well, last time I asked him, he's like, you know what? If I was free, I would have said yes, but I'm not. So.
Right. I know he'd probably be cool with it, but just in my mind, it feels kind
Okay.
of rude.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
Yeah.
no guest this week. We have a guest 2 weeks from now, Bob Seska.
Yes.
Buzz Burbank adjacent. So WJFK legend as well, right? As an intern.
Yes, absolutely.
And successful podcaster in his own right. Bob Seska will be on April 8th. Looking forward to that. And then next week, I believe we will in fact have Adam Burke on, and Alan can ask him all the questions he wants.
Yes. I look forward to it.
Do you know what I wanted to say to you?
What did you want to say?
It's a little belated, but happy anniversary.
Oh, yes. Happy
Yeah.
anniversary to us. Yes.
And the day that we found out we were going to get Seska on was the day that I noticed. Yeah, the 21st was our 6-year anniversary.
6 years, man. Time flies.
I know. That's all I got. We want to get into some of our comedies?
Let's do it.
Do a little comedy clip. So this one was sent in by 23 minutes. How did we get so far into the show? Oh, because I did a dumb joke at the beginning. So Thrash sent this one in. This is so this guy. Well, you know what? It's 27 seconds. I don't have to set it up.
I cut Teslas off every day.
How about that, Alan? Jaron Myers, J-R-O-N Myers.
Because listen, the person driving the car may not want to let me in line, right? But the auto brake system on that car,
Trust it.
you know what I'm talking about, is gonna let me do it. So I just cut in front, and in my rear view, I can see him.
Wow, like fucking nosedive, right? Like,
And the car is like, go ahead, sir. I don't care, dude. I cut them off all the time.
So before I'd seen this, I do a version of this, not my work truck, Alan.
Of course not. You wouldn't do that.
If I see a Cybertruck, I just like if they're coming towards me, I just drift like I'm going across the lane because I watch them. The car will their car will compensate for it.
Right.
Like because like my truck gives me the vibration on the steering wheel. If you do that, yours probably does that, right?
Yep, mine does. Yeah.
So if I just drift across the double yellow right at them. They watch their trucks and whoa. They're never paying attention. They're just in there jacking off watching.
Right.
porn,
Yeah.
cheering, like fucking Cybertrucks. I boxed a Cybertruck in with my work truck over the weekend because I had to. I needed to park somewhere. It's a busy part of downtown, and they were parked like 2 feet from the curb. So it was really hard for me to parallel park. And by the time I did, I was like, people were watching because I watched somebody. First of all, it took me like 20 points to actually get it. Yeah. Because I wanted to get close to the curb. I mean, all I had to do was be farther in than them. But there was people at like the brewery that was across the street that were watching me, and I got out and I like looked and I was like, oh, okay, I got about 6 inches. I'd get back in the truck and creep a little bit further, get out. So they had no room behind him to get out of there. I was like,
that's awesome.
Fucking Cybertruck, fascist,
stupid car.
Okay, yeah, you bought that afterwards. Like that was known. It was known when you did that.
All right.
All the people with Teslas like, yeah, I want an electric car. You know, Cybertrucks were a choice. Yes. I got one from Max. Is it okay to make fun of Serbs, Alan? I feel like it's okay to make fun of Serbs.
Huh.
Like I don't feel like I should feel bad to make fun of Serbs, and I don't know. Well, I do know why they. Okay, not like Bosniaks, but like Bosnian Serbs, right?
Right.
They're the bad ones.
The genocide ones.
Not individual people. Yes, right. They're the not individual people. Okay.
Right.
But there's a good joke.
The Milosevic ones.
Yes. Max sent this in. Lulu Jovovich is the comedian.
I do always say that Serbs are the black people of Europe. Because they're great at basketball and hated by their white neighbors. So.
You're laughing, Alan. You're laughing. That's a good joke, isn't it?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Don't get enough shit. I think it's okay.
Wow.
Because you get Kosovo and the Serbia and the Bosniak genocide confused because they happened within a few years apart. Like that's two separate things that these assholes did. Not individuals, but you know,
people. Some people did.
Some people did.
Some people.
All right. I got a joke set that I found. This is a 3-pack about coffee. You know the whole I like my coffee like setup. But 46 seconds, 3 killer jokes, 1 clip. This is Gemma Bailey.
Like my men, like I like my coffee.
Aussie, Alan.
Oh, nice.
Like I like my coffee. After a long wait, and then they say the wrong name, but I come anyway because he's looking directly in my eyes. All right, fair enough. All right. Okay, strapping. I like my men like I like my coffee. In the middle of a park, out of a van, and consensually.
This is Sydney, right? Sydney loves her coffee.
That's pretty good.
Her face.
I like my man, like I like my coffee, warm and cuddly and comforting in the morning, then busting out my ass by lunch.
Do you hear that lady say yes at the end? My favorite was that lady in the eyes be like, yes.
Yes, queen. Wow.
I almost said that the exact time you did. Still no update from Moose. Here's what I have as an update. Somebody asked, and I don't say who, why do all the dumb girls I went to high school with still watch are watching Hannah Montana? I said, Hannah Montana now? I said, yes, they're watching Hannah Montana now. I don't know what to say about that. So no response from Moose. I guess he's on Twitter talking about his penis there. Penis, sorry. I want to do a little bit of
Miley Cyrus as a child now. That was Miley Cyrus, wasn't it?
That is weird, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Alan,
yes. How about that?
How about that? All right. You want to learn a little bit of history of the word salt?
Sure.
Here's more than you would have thought that the word salt. Now, I think that you'd have to be a fool to not know that salt holds its place in like the history of the world.
Oh yeah.
But here's how it affected language. This is from Floydian Cookeries, the account sent in by Young Thrash Lad.
What if I tell you that salt has given birth to more English words than you'd ever imagine? Let's start with the Romans. Now, Romans loved eating raw greens seasoned with salty, briny dressings. The Latin word for salt was sal, so they called this dish herba salata, literally meaning salted herbs. Over time, the word salata became salad. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The Latin word salsus, meaning salted, gave birth to not 1, not 2, but 3 everyday words. First, the Old French turned salsus into their word for a salted condiment. That became sauce. The Italians used the same root for their cured salted meats, which gave us the word salami. and the Spanish kept it closest to the original for their sauces, salsa.
I saw that because people like to say salsa. That's a Seinfeld bit. People like to say salsa.
Now you'd think that covers it, right?
My salsa, 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 my salsa.
Not even close. Even the word sausage comes from salt. It traces back to the vulgar Latin salsica, meaning seasoned or preserved with salt. The word silt, that fine muddy sediment at the bottom of the rivers, likely comes from the Scandinavian word silt, meaning salt marsh. And the Greek word for salt, hals, gave us halogen, literally meaning salt producer. Chlorine, bromine, fluorine, all are categorized under halogens because they react with metals to form salts. But here's my favorite origin story of them all. Salt was so valuable in ancient Rome that soldiers were given a special allowance to buy it. This allowance was called salarium. Over centuries, that word lost its connection to salt and simply came to mean payment for work. And that is what gave us the word salary.
Okay, everybody knows that. That's the
That
first
one,
one. That's
yeah.
when you get out of the way early.
Right,
But
right.
These kids these days, they don't know nothing. They get Gen Zers out there telling them, did you know? That's a reminder. That's a healthy reminder for everybody out there. Like, the amount of shit where, like, we've seen it on the show and we're like, well, I knew that. I wish I had 100,000 views. I guess I could have done that. Just stop assuming that everybody knows this common knowledge you know. Make a big deal about it and promote yourself, apparently.
There you go.
That's
Yeah,
how
sure.
you're supposed to live.
Do that.
Okay. Advice for living from a 43-year-old. Hey, too old to get drafted. Did you see they're going to up the enlistment up to 42? Miss me with that bullshit. Just miss me. I'm so happy I'm old. I think we're going to save this map of the U.S. facts for Friday.
Okay.
Because we're 30 minutes into this show, Alan.
Yes, we are.
When I say Cho, have I covered this before? What I feel like I'm referring to?
Is it Mr. Cho?
No, Cho.
Yeah, Cho.
He was the Virginia Tech shooter. We should probably move on. How about we talk about...
Isn't that something?
Isn't that something? So Trump's leadership? Well, not Trump's leadership. That's the first segment under Iran talk. I made a note, and then I'm like, words, they're in front of me. All right, so we're going to talk about Iran. I guess I'll give you dealer's choice, Alan. Do you want to talk about Iran in the second half, or do we just talk about that, and then we talk about the other stuff in the second half?
No, I think we just...
I feel like this is the big topic.
This is the
right?
big topic, yes.
I just, I don't know about you, but I just, I'm a little fatigued from learning so much about it.
Iran exhaustion. Yeah.
Well, and like, so when the show ends, I start making notes about things as they come across
your desk.
And I throw them into a Word doc or a Google Doc, and then I try not to do too much on like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, only because who knows what the main character is going to tell us we need to be concerned about over the weekend, and then I kind of unplug over the weekend.
Yeah.
But come Monday morning this week, it was just so much shit. And I had like so many scattered things. Like, how do we make a cohesive narrative of what's going on in a way that we can then turn into a flowing conversation about what's going on, including news clips and segues and things like that. So honestly, it's always a little bit of work that I love doing. Like, it's not like what the South Park guys do. They deserve, like, I don't mean to sound like I'm doing what they do, but you know how they do you saw the documentary 6 Days to Air, where it's like every week we're doing this, and I normally don't do it until Monday mostly, right? And I take some pride in putting together a show in short, like that's the creative juices. I love the way it feels to get to do it. It was a lot of work today, and it was exhausting. It was exhausting. And I skipped my lunch and I took a fucking cat nap. I was like, I'm worn out. I got to go take a sleep. So anyway, so I think the first thing I want to talk about on the subject of the war in Iran is like just Trump's, like, we'll say quotes around the words leadership and negotiation tactics. So over the weekend on Saturday, there was an announcement of a 48-hour deadline that we're going to be given before we were going to strike Iran civilian infrastructure. It's like power plants, things like that. So you could translate that to open the strait by Monday, or we're going to commit war crimes. And then come Monday morning, he's like, war crimes are on hold until the markets close on Friday.
Right.
Right? Isn't that not? Okay.
Yeah. And also so this wasn't like an official press release from the White House. This was a Truth Social post. That's how we knew they had 48 hours. And then
this is a troth.
Yeah.
Truth, essential.
I keep saying troth. It's a troth. Yeah.
Yes.
So he troth posted it. And, I toss around words like war crimes being postponed until Friday. Look, like, I get it. I'm a fellow worldly wise, Alan. I'm a peeping Tom turkey with X-ray eyes. I'm heavenly blessed and worldly wise. I understand that war crimes aren't real, especially if you're America, but blowback and consequences are.
Right.
So when I say things like we're going to commit war crimes, like kill civilians so that we can get Iran to change their government, sure, there won't be consequences to the president specifically, but the people affected will hatch schemes and we will see the consequences of that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't need to enumerate. Like
he threatened to directly target civilian infrastructure, right? Take out power plants.
You know how like all of our infrastructure has been hacked by spies of some nature, and maybe they want to retaliate somehow. And I don't know, maybe it's Iran, maybe it's China. I don't know, but like, imagine if all of your power plants don't work no more as a response.
Maybe it's Russia.
Maybe it's Russia, Alan. So I want to talk about the announcement of that. So I have a link to his Truth Central post. So I'm going to read this out loud to you, and I'm going to look at the time here. So this was posted at 7:23 on Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true because this was first posted at 7:05. But we're going to come back to it. Okay. Actually, I'll do this in order. So the way it was originally posted was, "I am pleased." I did not pronounce the D. Right?
Because there was no D.
I am pleased. Yes, just like, well, I don't know.
I know where you were trying to go, I think, but yeah.
I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran, this is all caps, by the way, have had over the last 2 days, very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East based on the tenor and tone, like he's talking about a saxophone, the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, WITCH, which...
like the broom kind.
Yes. Will continue throughout the week. I've instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iran's power plants and energy infrastructure, the war crimes part,
right,
for a 5-day period, which coincides with the end of Friday, which is when we always do things after the markets close, so we can manipulate markets. We'll come back to manipulate. Alan, stick a finger in talking about the markets, okay?
I'll stick a finger in it.
Subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions, thank you for paying for this matter, which is my alteration of how he ends things. Thank you for paying for this matter. Okay, so I just want to get this little petty part out of the way first, and then we get back into the details of that. So at first, at 7:05, he posted, "I am pleased to announce," and he spelled which like, you know, the broomstick and the hat.
Right.
And then at 7:23, he corrected it to pleased and WHICH. Like almost 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny, right?
It is kind of funny. Who do you think reached out to him and was like, "Hey, bro, like you need to fix your
I don't know, but it's pretty obvious he's using voice to text, right?
Yeah,
people are like, he's people say this. I heard Bob Cesca saying it today. He's like, he's not writing any of these himself. I'm like, no, he definitely is. And either that or the person that's writing it for him is using voice to text, right? Like the real issue is they're not proofreading it. They're just posting major missives that have global geopolitics. I mean, look, when I talk about, is your finger still in it?
Yeah, my finger's in it.
You can take your finger out.
Okay, thanks.
Let's talk about market manipulation. So if there was a co-equal branch of government that could like actually apply a check to power, they might want to pay attention to what I'm about to describe. So at 7 a.m., he's like, "Hey, we talked and it's all good." By 7:10, there was huge spikes in the markets. At 7:30, Iran's like, "No, we didn't do any of that. This is all bullshit." Like, I don't know who he's talking to. Now, granted, that might be the actual people that think they're in charge in Iran are not the people that he's talking to, which is a separate conversation we'll have in a moment. We'll be talking about some of that on the hidden track, right?
We did, yeah.
By 8 o'clock, the spike had been turned around because they had seen that Iran was like, no, nobody's talking to anybody. This guy's like yanking you around, right? He's yanking your chain. And now it went from a spike in the market to a negative 120 in the market, equating a $3 trillion swing in under an hour. Now, my original note ended this whole thing with, I'm sure nobody made money off of that. As we talked about in the hidden track,
somebody did.
At 6:50, So 13 minutes before, 15 minutes, I can do math. That's an easier one than I treated it as. 15 minutes before, someone placed a huge bet, and there was market. So when I talk about there being spikes in the market by 7:10, 5 minutes later, there was stuff going on. There was some pre-cum going on there, Alan. It all lubed. So the people have some inside track. So that's really why, right? He doesn't have time to proofread. He's got to get these things out there because all his friends are out there making money. He's got to get that out there so they can start making their money.
You told me you're gonna have it out at 7, so I put the bet into 6:50. You can't just fucking get that shit out there.
Post that shit, dog.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, man, hey, I use voice to text all the time, but it's in the group chat or it's in like the show notes, and I have to correct
Sometimes it does do funny mistakes in the notes.
I've got a bunch of them in here that I don't even correct because they make me laugh. Like,
right.
I think it did Strait of Hormuz. It called it Strait of Horror Movies. I'm like,
it did.
Yeah, I like that.
I saw it.
Yeah, but yeah, he's definitely writing his own. If anything, today we learned that if he's not writing his own troths, what is it?
Truth.
If he's not writing his own troths, somebody else is doing it, and they're using voice to text, which is like, Jesus Christ, man. If you're gonna write it for him, at least write it for him, right?
Yeah, or at least proofread the voice to text.
Right.
Yeah.
So we talked about how Iran is talking to him, or he thinks that he's talking to someone in Iran, and it's very strong.
We're not telling the truth when it comes to productive conversations to end the war.
So he's saying Iran is saying that he's not telling the truth about having, and again, it's the spokespeople from Iran that have been the traditional spokespeople for the regime, right? Which he says they've replaced the regime with a regime. I don't think I even have this clip. There was something where he said, where he's like, well, regime change actually happened because there's a new regime in charge. So we can walk away now. We've done our regime change, which like just when this all started, it was like, hey, do you really want regime change? He's like, sure, but maybe the people of Iran could do it. Well, technically it's regime change, but it's not regime change because he's talking to somebody that isn't the person who's telling us this. Are you following me? Because
yes.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
But you are following me.
Yeah. So essentially, the official spokespeople for the Iranian government, as it stands today, are saying that they have had no conversations with Trump. Trump insists that he's had negotiations with somebody. That might be true. It's just not the official spokespeople.
Well, somebody that offered him a very shiny object.
Shiny objects were offered.
Natural gas, apparently, and the Strait of Hormuz. Listen to the hidden track. Okay, let's go back to this.
Productive conversations to end the war.
Well, they're going to have to get themselves better public relations people.
Can you stop? Have you checked under the rubble?
People. We have had very, very strong talks. We'll see where they lead. We have major points of agreement. I would say almost all points of agreement. Perhaps that hasn't been conveyed. The communication, as you know, has been blown to pieces. They're unable to talk to each other. But we've had very strong talks. Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner had them.
Oh, your son in real estate, buddy?
They went, I would say, perfectly. I would say that...
Just as good as my talk to Brent Raffensperger from Georgia.
If they carry through with that, it'll end that problem, that conflict, and I think it'll end it very, very substantially. We have very much.
You noticed he called it a conflict, not a war. And there's other clips where he's like, the Democrats call it a war. We call it like, okay, you've been here while we make fun of Russia for not admitting that they're at war.
Right. The special military operation.
Our partners in the Middle East, we've had great relationships with a lot of them, as you know. A lot of them were surprisingly hit.
Surprisingly, anybody who could have told you how, like the two things that we could have told you before this started is they're going to close down the Strait of Hormuz and allies in the region are going to be hit. Surprisingly.
And I was surprised to see it, and so was everyone else. But we have, they're very much in mind in the discussions. So the discussions took place yesterday. They went into yesterday evening.
Are we good?
We're good
on this one. I don't like how
I think we're good.
So Iran's response is that the U.S. is just buying time by saying this. The U.S. says, no, we've talked to a top person. And you know what they've told us, Alan? They told us that Iran has promised to have no nukes.
Iran already promised to have no nukes before we went to war with them. So that's...
Thank you. I'm pretty sure the father of the new Ayatollah was the one that initially said, do I have my Ayatollahs in
You're
order?
correct.
Did we leapfrog one? Is that what happened? They went this way and then it went back to the son of the other one? Is that what it was?
It's not the oldest son, but so yeah. But
is this the son of the one that just died, or is this the son of the first one?
This is the son of the one that just died. The son of the first
one. That's the one that said he made a fatwa against having nuclear weapons, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, but he's talked to a top guy that's told him that it's exactly the way it was before the war started, where they said that they won't have nukes.
Right.
Just okay. So a lot of people are saying that he is trying to wrap this up as quick as he can because he doesn't want this to affect the midterms, right? And I've said this before on the show. I mean, like, brother, like you're worried about a war in the Middle East affecting your upcoming election. George H.W. Bush won the Iraq war and he lost that election. Like, what do you think walking away while Iran's like, is going to do for you? Like, this is not, I mean, we've yet to see how Teflon he actually is. But I honestly think that he's A/B testing with the markets. I think he comes out on Saturday and says, well, the markets are closed. He gets to see the Japanese markets and see how they respond. And then he comes out Monday. He's like, hey, never mind. Nobody likes this. I talked to some guy. He promised me something nice. And because of that, we're willing to wait until the markets close on Friday. Like, it's always in line with the fucking markets, right? When do we bomb these people? When do we go into Caracas? When did this
Friday
happen?
night.
Saturday morning. Friday
morning.
night.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there's like that much like strategy behind it. He doesn't seem very strategic to me. However, like, he does like to do things like this, sort of like off news.
Atlanta didn't never bomb. Atlanta was a false flag operation, and Abraham Lincoln was the crisis.
You think that in so much as there is, after everything we talked about in the hidden track with his green, what is it, green? What do you call it? Green mailing schemes.
Oh, green mailing.
And like everything about this sounds like exactly his formula for market manipulation and getting himself and his friends rich.
I mean, there's no doubt that he likes to do these kind of things on Friday night, Saturday mornings when they're sort of out of the news cycle, and then see what happens then, come Monday morning. I don't know if it's that manipulative or not. Sure, he's done that in the past. If he's doing that here, it's possible. I can see it going either way.
He's stuck with a bunch of bad options.
He is.
Like any of his choices in front of him are bad. So he doesn't want to make a decision, right? So he's trying to see if the decision can happen anyways. Mm-hmm. By like saying these things and seeing where they go and seeing if that changes the landscape, and then he can pick a better of those choices, right? So he's doing these things so that he can hope that his bad options change again, right? Like, you play these little phone games, there's like a shuffle button, you're like, I don't know how to move, so do a shuffle button, right?
Yeah, move all the tiles around. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have one of those games too? Because that's
sure.
I don't know that was something that everybody knows, like, that common thing where you're playing these stupid phone games. Okay.
Yes.
But he, so one thing that's really happening that we're seeing repeatedly, right? Both now with this week where we're going to wait until markets close on Friday, or what he said over the weekend, or before the war started, where he's like, we're going to give him a couple of weeks, or going back to last June where we completely obliterated their nuclear weapons.
Right.
He likes to attach deadlines to things because he thinks it gives him leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound like mafia shit?
Of course.
Like, you got 7 days to pay me back with interest, otherwise we break your legs. You're not going to like it. It's going to be, we won't say anything about your legs. In fact, I want you to be more afraid of what it could possibly be than anything I could actually directly threaten you with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Be ashamed if something bad happened to this place. Yeah.
So the White House has actually warned him to stop doing this because it creates red lines like Obama with Libya. And then it makes him look weak when he tacos, which he did on Monday. He totally tacoed. Anybody with a brain is like, oh, market's Friday, 5 more days. That's so weird. So pulling back from that 48 hours because he saw what happened in the Japanese markets and the international stuff, and then altering it to 5 days because you've seen that, it shows the Iranians what your pain points are, right? It gives them leverage in negotiations or whatever their actions are to because it costs them nothing to cause us pain in the Strait of Hormuz. It costs them very little, rather, I should say.
Very little, yeah.
Yeah, it takes very little effort for them to do that, and every time they do it effectively, we demonstrate a great amount of pain and a lack of interest from the American public for having wanting to be there, right? So, which leads me to a thought that I actually want to know what you think. I think the Iranians understand Trump better than Trump or anybody in his administration understand the Iranians.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Trump's pretty much an open book, right? Like he kind of, I mean, most of the world leaders, all of the world leaders, I think at this point have a really good idea of how to manipulate him, which is why you see them giving him shit all the time and peace prizes they just made up and shit like that because
the
they
FIFA
know
World Peace Prize and the undisputed champion of coal.
Right. because you know how to how to manipulate them. So you do it. It's easy.
Well, remember last week we talked about America's willingness to suffer is nothing compared to the pride that maybe not the specific Iranians, but the Islamic Revolutionary Government holds itself to in Iran. Like they will put up with way more than any of us have any interest in going through, because we don't want to be here in the beginning. We didn't ask for this. And the people that voted here specifically asked for him to not do this.
That was part of the platform, actually. Do you think at this point that he has any regrets, that he's like, fuck, I thought this would be like Maduro, where I could just...
I think he lies to himself. In fact, I have more. No, I think that he doesn't have the ability to talk to himself in that way. But I think that he should, right? I actually wonder, is there anybody around him who can coach him on this, right? Because obviously he got bad advice.
Well, I think he got a lot of good advice and he ignored it also, but he got some bad advice too.
Well, some people said it was Mossad. We're going to come to that. Alan, can you put another finger in that? Maybe put 2 fingers in that.
That's a dangerous thing to put fingers in, but I shall. Is that the farmer's milking machine?
The third one, it won't stop sucking until it gets 30 gallons. Is that one, Alan?
Yes,
rip your fingers off.
Yeah. That
so, along the lines of what you're saying, I think this could be, and it's been said many times before and it hasn't come true, but this could be Trump's undoing. Now, I don't really care to invest much in the idea of this being Trump's undoing, but I am interested in the fact that that might be true and that he knows that other people know that, right? And what we'll see him do in response to knowing that other people know that he's vulnerable, I think is more interesting than... Because it's been 1,000 times. We've seen this guy fail before.
Right. I mean, it is interesting, but it's also fucking terrifying because...
Oh, yeah, that was what I meant by interesting.
Yeah. We'll get to election stuff later, I know, but...
it's like a dog backed in a corner. It'll bite you and never warn you. Watch out.
This is a wounded animal.
Your insides out.
Oh, I'm
quoting William Shatner from Common People.
Oh, okay. You're kind of doing a Tom Waits voice there. This is a wounded animal in the corner, right? That's the most dangerous thing, right?
Yeah, it'll bite you, never warn you. We just covered this.
Yes.
You listening? Let's talk a little bit about more strategy and stuff in the military. So, tell me if this makes sense. Does it feel like the war has shifted to a phase where its current goal is to return the Strait of Hormuz back to the condition it was prior to the war?
Yes, it does.
Some might say the conditions under the Obama administration.
Sure, or even the Biden administration.
Yeah.
Or even the first Trump administration.
It's more fun to tell him that it was the Obama administration.
Yeah.
So this has gone from a war to find uranium, maybe have a little regime change. Find the uranium, prevent the nukes. That was the best argument, right? Is we can't have nukes. Okay. So it's been a war to find uranium to a war to prevent oil prices from climbing.
Right.
But by the way, it's more than just oil.
It's fertilizer.
Talk a little bit about that while I load up some clips. I asked Way to send something in.
Yeah, I mean the amount of stuff that gets that gets shipped through that strait, the Strait of Hormuz, is massive. And so it's oil, it's liquefied natural gas, which is used in all kinds of inputs through all kinds of different countries. It's fertilizer, which is used to grow food, and all of that stuff being held up is going to cause all kinds of problems within these supply chains, which then is going.
So we think about how it's causing our gas prices to go up because we see that, and if you think about that, gas prices are giant billboards of the failure of this war that every American sees constantly while they were driving around, right? That is a horrible thing as a leader to have your people see. I get that. But there are people that are really suffering under this. Let me play some clips about this is what it's like in Vietnam under this. These are the consequences of acting half-cocked and being like, hey, we have enough oil. Who really cares? It's well, I don't know. I personally would like to not see people unrelated to this suffer for no reason because of your dumb choices, right? So this is what it's like for just an average person. I think he's above average, but a person's living their life in Vietnam.
Well, gas prices has already jumped over 50%, and it is closing in at around, I think it's 33,000 VND per liter. I'm not sure how to translate
VND is dong. Their money is dong, Alan. You get it?
I get it.
into dollars per gallon.
It's a lot of dollars.
Let me check.
He's going to do a little bit of math.
Okay.
More than an hour. All right, I just checked. The gas price is 31,000 VND per liter. That is roughly around $4.95 per gallon.
He sent me another message saying he did it wrong. It's $4.45 per gallon. Doesn't matter because the follow-up. First of all, that would be a lot here. Like in Tennessee, that's a lot. I know that's not as much for you, but that's a lot here. That's more than it is here. Like that's more than it is here at our wages.
And you know how much lower wages here are? That is more than an hour worth of work. Yeah.
I feel like really fortunate for what I was able to earn over the weekend. I don't want to think about that. That's fucked up, man.
An hour's worth of work to get a liter of
less than
a liter of gas. Yeah. That's
less than a gallon, but yeah.
I've not heard of reports of movement of fertilizers, but
regarding famine.
Flights has already been canceled because of the lack of jet fuel, and they
don't have anybody like ICE over there though, so we have our own airport problems. That's him apologizing for doing his math wrong. One more.
Or least to be affected. Regarding food security, probably there's an uptick in fertilizers, meaning that there would be a uptick in food prices.
Meaning pricing going
so
up.
far, not too bad yet.
It will be.
It will affect other crops.
And then he starts quoting Julian, which I don't need him to tell me about Julian if he's going to talk. So Julian was pointing out that like it's going to hit commodities first and then staples. So like things like coffee and stuff like that are going to go up, and then it's going to be inputs to major sectors like food and things like that.
Well,
so,
and I want to point out. So
Please.
Even if, let's say, this war ended tomorrow, and Iran was like, "Yep, we're good. We're going to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. We're not going to fuck around with this anymore. It's over. We're done." All right. That's still, so we're not talking about like a few weeks to get things back to where they were prior to this stupid fucking war. We're talking at this point about months and years to repair the infrastructure, to get those things through, to like restart production, because they've had to stop production in a lot of these places because there's no place to put the shit, right? So like to get all of that back up, we're talking, I mean, we could be seeing the effects of this like 10 years from now. It's fucking...
I have follow-up on that, but it's literally the only thing I have to transition us into break, so I'm going to not. But it was great. I do not want to stop you, though, because you're 100% on that. And in fact, there's no time for you to respond when I say what I say and then go to break. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. Wait for me to put a finger in that one also. Another finger on the other hand into that one. Actually, this is where I have my note about it. Shouldn't the president be asking the people around him what they got so fucking wrong, right? And do you think that there's any chance that there is anybody around they talk to? Maybe Susie Wiles, right?
Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, from all accounts, the Raisin Man was telling him that these are the potential consequences. And he's like, okay. The Raisin Man said, like, this is probably what will happen, but we can bomb the fuck out of them. Sir, here are your choices. And he's like, bomb the fuck out of them. I like that. Right?
Yeah. And I'm sure Hegseth was in the corner being a cheerleader, right? Like, he wants to blow shit up. That's his favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
As long as we do it quick, apparently. And then that was JD Vance, who's thinking he's going to sit out the 2028 election. We aren't going to remember. His advice was, I don't think you should do this, but if you're going to do it, you need to go all the way, which isn't wrong, except it doesn't include the line of where you can't do that second part. Don't do it, but if you do it right. Also, you can't do it right, is really what that says.
Right. Okay. Because the only way to do it, to accomplish any sort of objective that they've laid out, which is all over the place, would require ground troops, and they know they weren't going to do that, unless they do.
Right.
Which, well, I mean, there's paratroopers on the way.
Dude, we broke that in the hidden track.
Yeah.
And then the New York Times released that after we closed off the show. I know people will hear this after that, but I'm feeling pretty good about ourselves, Alan. So insiders in the White House, I said you can take your finger out of Mossad. Insiders in the White House are saying that the Mossad chief had convinced Bibi, who talked to Trump, that there would be an uprising within days in Tehran. So just like how we thought we'd get to Baghdad and they'd have a revolt in Iraq when we went into Iraq in 2003, just like Moscow thought that they'd be in Kiev. So like, do you think that here's my thought on that? Do you think that they actually thought that, or do you think that they told Trump what they needed Trump to hear to get him on board with the war that they wanted?
100% the second thing.
Second part, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Because we have a pretty bad track record of not accurately estimating how a country is going to fight, right? Like we got it wrong with Iraq, with like I just described, but we also got it wrong with the Afghan army, right? We thought they'd be a lot more effective.
Stand up.
Yeah. We underestimated the people now we didn't invade Ukraine, but we thought that war, we agreed that Russia would steamroll them. So we thought that their military might would steamroll the Ukraine. We overestimated the people in Iraq. We overestimated the people of Afghanistan. We underestimated the Ukrainians, and we clearly have it wrong with Iran. Like we have a really bad track record of predicting how well people are going to respond to these things.
I mean, Trump ran on the fact that we have a really bad track record on these things. And he said he wasn't going to do that because of the consequences. And here we are.
J.D. Vance says that was done by a dumb president. Now we have a smart one, though.
I heard him say that. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's probably in your headline show, so we can save more of it there. But the whole thing do we know what really happened with the Diego Garcia attack?
I'm hoping to have more details by tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because all I know, I know that there was my favorite insight on that is Ryan Macbeth suggested that so it's about missile range, right? Like that's the question, right? So people that don't know, the estimates of how far that Iran could reach were like 1,000 kilometers or 1,000 miles.
Kilometers, I think it was.
1,000 kilometers less than. So we have a base on Diego Garcia. No, the British do that they let us use, and we've used it in Vietnam, Afghanistan, and now in Iran. We used it with the Yemenis. So it's this base in the Indian Ocean, and it should be outside of the range for Iran's ballistics to hit. So the fact that it was reported that two missiles made it to Diego Garcia and they were intercepted or they fell out of the sky, it's kind of unclear, which is why Alan's saying he doesn't know what to say.
Right.
Which I respect that. But so there's two ways of thinking of this. They have a different missile system that we didn't know, which is highly unlikely given the penetration to Iran's missile production that Mossad has. It would be really weird for them to have, because that would have required testing, I would think, and I don't know how they would prove that without launches, right?
Diego Garcia is like 2,500 miles from Tehran, so way further than they're supposed to be able to reach.
So I think 500 miles. So I think it was 1,000 kilometers, just roughly, right?
Right. Okay.
So Here's what Ryan Macbeth's theory was. They used an existing rocket. They took the warhead out, which allowed the fuel to propel it further because it didn't have as much weight.
There was no payload.
There was no payload. So,
interesting.
We can hit you. We can show that we can hit you and scare you. It's interesting strategy.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Yemenis did it, Alan. I don't know.
I had read like people, saying perhaps they like repurposed
false flag operations. They said the Israelis did it. That's what Iran says. They repurposed one of our rockets?
No, they repurposed like rockets they used to put satellites up or something like that.
Clever.
Yeah, but still probably no payload would be the thing.
Well, and to repurpose something like that and actually have good targeting seems...
That's where they'd have to have Russia or China help, I think.
Yeah, but also like to alter that and still have good guidance and accuracy seems risky. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Here's Mark Rutte of NATO. He's the head of NATO right now. Right. It does sound a little bit of kiss each other, towards him and Donald Trump's butt.
Kiss.
Politicians. It resonates with them what the president is doing here, which is degrading Iran's capability to be, again, an exporter of chaos.
So just remember, like, Trump's been like, fuck NATO. I can't believe that you aren't helping us here. NATO's useless. He called NATO a paper tiger. And so the head of NATO turns around and says this on Face of the Nation.
Chaos to the region, to the world.
Well, I'm sure the president appreciates your praise, but he has been very frustrated and made that clear this week with NATO and the European allies. He called NATO, quote, a paper tiger without the U.S. He said they complain about high oil prices when they're forced to pay, but they don't want to help open the Strait of Hormuz. Easy for them. Cowards. We will remember.
I've been in several conversations this week with the president, and the good news is that, look, we had the US for weeks planning for Epic Fury, and for reasons.
Anyways, this clip's just him being a kiss ass. My commentary on it is just that, like, I actually understand he feels like he can play a little bit of lip service to Trump to get him back on board enough, right? Like, he knows that Trump is pliable. He knows that if he says the right things, he can get him back on board. And he knows that Trump doesn't want to expose Europe and NATO's south flank. So Turkey, Cyprus, and Italy are vulnerable to an attack from Iran with that kind of range, apparently. So now Italy's on the menu. Like we have so
yeah, they would be.
I mean, I think that it's not ideal for a leader of an organization like NATO to sound like that, but I think it is the right. Right is not the right word. I understand the effect of that on Trump.
I think that probably running NATO is got to be one of the hardest jobs on the planet, and there is certainly a political side of it, right? That you have to be able to manage, and the playbook with how to manage Trump is doing what he's doing, and so. If that's what you got to do to keep World War III from happening, then I guess, lick harder. I don't know.
Huh?
Brown knows a little further,
Oh, I get it. I was texting Moose, so it was really weird timing. So let's talk about sending in the Marines. So according to the Wall Street Journal, the only way that it will be possible to achieve the new stated goals, because now the new stated goals are to reopen the strait, right? This is just a war about reopening the strait. Just get things back to the way they were before we started this fucking war. The only way, according to the analysis by the Wall Street Journal, is to put boots actually on the ground. So clearly that wasn't part of the original plan, right? Because you would have had assets in the region. And
they wouldn't have been 3,000 miles, 5,000 miles away. Wherever they were.
And we're sending in, I mean, people a lot farther than 5,000 miles away if we're sending in the 82nd Airborne, right?
Right.
North Carolina, take your shirt off. It sounds like it's more of a commitment trap, right? Like it's just like Vietnam again. Things just, you get in that escalation ladder and you can't back down from it. I think Trump hears that and he goes, yeah, but not for me. I can do better. I know other people did this, but.
That's 100% what he's thinking. Yeah.
100%.
That's why we're here in the first place.
I think, okay. I do want to play this clip because I think it's funny how it sounds. So, the link expired. Oh, dang it. I forgot. For some reason, the quick share only shares for 48 hours.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it'd be real good for if it just went a week so I could do things for the show. There was an NPR clip. It was just funny. They were talking about retired generals, but it sounded like he said retarded.
That is funny.
So, okay, Karg Island. We've talked about this. Can you help me with what the topic may have been, like how they talked about it? We've talked about this last week.
Yeah, Karg Island is an island off the coast of Iran, where they do most of their actual refining of oil products to ship out. So 90% or something of their oil products get shipped from Karg Island. The Israelis and the U.S. have bombed things on Karg Island, but infrastructure things, they've been careful not to hit the refineries or other.
Okay, yes, but we hit
that.
the landing strip, which is going to make it harder for us to land. Should we land?
There is that.
We would always have to be amphibious, but still. And then they could repair the landing.
But the thing is, so even if they attempt to land, don't you think they're just going to blow that shit up?
I think that they're going to hit the oil refineries, and there's going to be oil smoke and
No, I'm saying, let's say. So the Marines that are there, the paratroopers they're sending in, they try to assault Karg Island.
Yeah.
Don't you think the
Iranians blow it up?
Blow it up. Yes.
That's what I said. And then,
okay.
So it's so I was just taking it a step further and being sure, you can have it, but can you hold it? Can you keep it? And now you're hundreds of miles behind enemy lines. That is deep in that strait. deep in it. Like, you know, like Homeboy's been bragging about. Like, yeah, right up in there.
How deep is your butt? Yeah.
How deep is your butt? Like the Bee Gees. Thank you, Alan.
Right.
Now I'm confused. Alan. So what I was actually getting at with that though is, you know, this is gonna be toxic fumes. I mean, it's not the most compelling way to describe this, but it's certainly not going to be. You know, you're talking about oil on fire long term while you're being bombarded all behind enemy lines, and now you have difficulty with, you know, resupplying that area unless we can manage to secure that whole area around it. But it goes back to what I said earlier. It costs Iran very little to make that chaotic, right?
Right.
And they all shoot down into that area. That's where they have all their drones. I mean, we'll see. It'd be great if that wasn't like that and we can take it. I would love to see us be successful at this. It doesn't. They've wargamed about this for 30 years, and every time they wargame about this, they say, okay, the first thing Iran's going to do is close down the strait, and you're going to go and try to take Karg Island, and it's not going to be easy. Or you can, I mean, we can't even defend existing bases in that region now. Right. Like, how are you going to do that in an undefended, unexisting base with oil burning all around you, right? At a minimum.
Adam, yes. No, it's.
And then you have old ladybugs, Lindsey Graham, going on, you know, Fox News or something this weekend. I think it was Meet the Press, and saying, you know, he backs the Marines and he thinks that the Marines can take Karg Island because they took Iwo Jima. He's like, if the Marines could take Iwo Jima, then we could take Karg Island. Do I need to remind you how bloody Iwo Jima was? The thousands of Americans and Japanese that died in the process of I mean, it was a loss. Just somebody won, right? Right. Like the loss of life was atrocious. And you're just like, he's celebrating it. He's like, how dare you question our Marines? You know how many of our men could die so that we could do that? That's his idea of a victory. That's his idea of I'm willing to bet on. Why don't you go do it? Ladybugs is talking about protecting. He's talking about getting a coalition together, right? He thinks that he could have allies send ships to open up the Strait of Hormuz. I wouldn't think he'd be for a coalition of the Strait. You didn't see that coming? Did I get you?
It's pretty good. Good.
Bobby made that up. I gotta take it.
Nice.
Did you have something to say? I'm going to play a version of Scaramucci has his whole theory about how he. So Mooch, do you have something?
I mean, I was just going to say, I mean, he wants to say, well, we did it. We took over Iwo Jima. We can do it here too. And it's like, okay, well, what's the point? So let's say we do that.
There was a point with the Iwo Jima. You were island hopping, right? You were getting to mainland. Like, what are you fucking doing? So that you can get things back to the way it was under Obama?
Yeah, apparently that's the point.
You could actually get that by backing down too. No, nobody wants that. Like, even I'm like, that kind of would suck.
Nobody wants that.
Like, that would be better, honestly, than a bunch of dead. You know, the only good thing that would come from it, and it wouldn't be worth it because of all the dead Americans. The only good thing that would come from it is it would bury MAGA. That would fucking bury MAGA. I mean, I almost feel like that's baked in at this point anyways, though. I just don't understand how you get out of this. None of the options in front of them can possibly be good for them, but we'll see. So this is Scaramucci, who was an insider in the Trump administration for a very brief time period. But he still knows a lot of people in those circles, and he's giving you an idea of what it must have been like inside Trump's war room, and what he theorizes it would be like with the idea of invading Karg Island, okay?
Okay.
But again, I want to go to where the Situation Room is. I want to put people right in the room, and I want to talk about what should be being said and what is actually being said based on my knowledge, Gaddy, of talking to people. So one, we're going to go and put the troops in. Okay, what are they going to do, guys? Okay, well, here's what they're going to do. They're going to do coastal control for the Strait of Hormuz. They're going to be looking for nuclear weapons. They're going to take out high-value targets. These are like senior IRGC leadership.
This is the way it gets sold, right? This isn't like practical, right? And be like, we're going to go find the nukes. We're going to take out seniors. We're going to control the coast.
We're going to do short duration raids, helicopter insurgents, think Bin Laden style raids. This is how they're talking to Trump in the room.
That is terrifying if that is what he's saying, because just taking out that nuclear material is a massive and very dangerous operation. You've got to have an airfield, you've got to secure the airfield, you've got to have flights going in and out, you've got to dig through however many hundreds of meters it is of rubble to get to a commodity that is incredibly fragile and febrile. I mean, it's just...
Trump is seeing...
Not only is that fragile, actually, I said it like her fragile, but it's volatile, right? Like if you get that uranium and like how it's stored, I believe, I could be wrong, but I heard somebody say it's gaseous, how it's stored. I didn't know that. I thought, I'm picturing rods, right? Like in like the reactors, but they're saying like, if that gets pierced, I mean, that becomes atmospheric at that point. So everybody that's around there gets in, and then I don't know what kind of chain reaction there is with that. It's probably not like a warhead.
It's not like a warhead, but it would be.
Yeah, but it would be dangerous for everybody involved.
The radiation would kill you.
For what, right? Or you can have this will end with negotiations anyways. So you can have your negotiations and you can find your way. And I actually have a proposal for how I think that might work, but I'm not ready to get to that part yet. Let me just finish this clip, okay?
Zero Dark 30.
Oh, come on. That was the whole point of this. I wanted to say Zero Dark Thursday.
A commodity that is incredibly fragile and febrile. I mean, it's just...
Trump is seeing Zero Dark 30 and he's seeing Jessica Chastain and James Gandolfini in the movie. I
forgot Gandolfini. I forgot Tony Soprano was in that.
I forgot about that too.
But he's seeing, okay. Guys, I wish this wasn't the truth, but we got to just tell people. All right?
He's seeing the Osama raid.
Okay, so the other thing that's happening is that is a commitment trap. Okay, and the minute you go to do that, every step that you're doing is going to cement the escalation. Okay, so now you have troops hitting the ground. His team is telling him that's going to end the deadlock. But in my opinion, sir, Mr. President, that's going to cement the deadlock, and that's going to put American lives in harm's way as the collateral of that deadlock. But I think it's very important for people to know, and I'm going to give it more than 50%, Caddy. More than 50% that we're going to have troops on the ground.
This is all on Friday. Like this was, this is before the 82nd was sent in.
Right.
So we can stop it there.
What he's talking about though is like classic mission creep and classic how you just get drawn into more forever wars and like what there's no end game here. There's nothing at all.
Well, there is an end game because Trump says he'll know in his bones when this is over.
Feel it in my bones. It'll be a vibe, you guys.
His bone spurred bones. He'll know it in his bone spurs when this war is over.
Right.
He'll know it in his bone spurs. So that brings us to what I think. We talked about like his negotiation tactics. We talked about the military escalation. Let's kind of go back to tactics, or at least like what his options are. Okay. So I see it. He's got the option to talk. He's got the option to leave. He's got the option to continue as he is, or he can escalate. So if he's going to talk, I mean, that's what I always say, though. That's the ultimate conclusion anyways, right? It's the only real conclusion is to actually talk. Now, whether that happens now or later, it's going to happen. And it's what condition your enemy is when you actually talking to them, right? But two questions of trust. Who do we trust that we can talk to, for one?
Right.
And who can we talk to? And who over there would actually trust us? I'm doing an owl impression. Who would they trust? Like every time we've told them that you've got a time period, we bomb them halfway through it, right?
Right.
The only reason I don't think we're going to interrupt this one and bomb them is because it conveniently lines up with markets closing on Friday. Like I think we're going 5 days and he's tacoing on top of that, right? Before it was like, I need to give time to get assets in that region before we actually invade you. But every time that we've, negotiated, we've always broken that with violence. So nobody on that side should trust us unless it's somebody on the side that would like to see the regime change from inside, which is possible. I mean, that's best case scenario. That's certainly what I hope, right?
Yeah, but if they don't have control over the IRGC or the besieged, then it doesn't matter. Like that, you're never gonna accomplish that without those two entities. And as of right now, the hardliners control them, and I don't see any reason for that to change in any time in the near future.
Nope. So then that gives us, then we can move on to leave, right? We can just leave, and which I think is the most appealing to Trump. I think that what we're seeing in the last 24 hours is him sowing. So I get sowing and reaping confused because they're not the words that I would normally use, right?
Sowing is planting, reaping is
I know, but
harvesting.
harvest and planting is what I would say. I don't say
Okay.
sowing and reaping, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
But I did like Jordan using that. I mean, did you listen to that episode of Knowledge Fight where he's like, me while I'm sowing, yay, me while I'm reaping? No,
No, I didn't hear that yet.
That's what we're living through right now with MAGA. These,
yeah.
Liberal tears. Oh no, we went to a war. Whoops. Okay. So yeah, I think we're seeing him sow the seeds for him to actually reap leaving. So, but the real time to just leave was 2 weeks ago, right? Like right after the first few days of bombing, he could have been like, we're out, have fun.
We did
with
what we
your
needed
rubble.
to do. We mowed the
Israel's
grass.
going to wrap up the rest of this.
Yeah.
You know, last thing we're going to do is continue this. And like that certainly didn't seem appealing or palatable at the time, but it feels better now. It's like when you're losing at gambling, you're like, yeah, that first few bad hands would have been the time to go, but now I've lost, thousands of more. I better keep winning.
Better keep
right?
playing. Yeah.
Yeah. God, it's exactly like that.
It's exactly like that.
But even if he does declare this is over and walks away, Iran can cause global tensions within the strait, and it just always is a lose-lose for him. So these are reasons why leaving doesn't work, even if he thinks he's going to do it. Also, leaving means leaving the regime in place, and leaving means leaving the regime in place with the uranium. We just talked about all that. So, and Trump said his stated objective now, at least, is they can't have nukes. So I don't see how leaving really does work unless the shiny object. No, they asked if it was nuclear. Yeah, the shiny object that he said he got could have been the uranium, but it's not because he said it's not.
So just to summarize,
Yes.
we took out the previous leadership
Yes.
of Iran because we didn't want them to get nukes. Said leadership had stated they absolutely did not want nukes.
Right.
And now the new leadership that's come to power has every reason to think they need to get nukes and the means to do so. And lots of, revenge on the mind, I would imagine. Now that seems perfect. That seems like great plan. Great plan.
But I mean, it does. So I said talk, leave, continue, or escalate. I mean, he seems to be leaning towards leave. That's certainly based on the market feedback that I say he's A/B testing seems to lead him towards, hey, we should probably leave, right? But
Leave
the
is
other
kind of his
option,
usual move, yeah.
continue and escalate feel like the same thing, but they're slightly different. Continue means you just keep degrading their missile strike capability and let them bleed out their missiles that with like, they're now using more cluster munitions to hit Israel, and it's actually kind of effective because missiles get through and then they branch out into their clusters, and those are landing in like Tel Aviv neighborhoods, and it's a problem. And nobody wants to talk about it, but Israel's running out of interceptors, and nobody wants to talk about it because it means we're running out of interceptors.
Right.
So was it fucking worth it to not change the regime and not have so then you go back, this is circular. So I can't leave because I have to continue because I've done all this and I didn't achieve anything, and I can't do that for nothing. This is why you don't do this. This is literally being stuck in this moment is why you never start this. And Alan, me and you were saying that before. Like anybody would, all of our listeners understand that. I don't have to get frustrated about it. So, and as long as Iran has something to shoot into the strait, then that's enough for them.
That's all that matters. Yeah.
Right. But you know what? As long as they're doing that, so here's a little clip from Donald Trump from yesterday that makes it sound like he's probably leaning towards just continuing, because here's his thoughts.
To get together today by probably phone, because it's very hard to find a country. It's very hard for them to get out, I guess. But we'll at some point very, very soon meet. We're doing a 5-day period. We'll see how that goes. And if it goes well, we're going to end up with settling this. Otherwise, we'll just keep bombing our little hearts out.
Bombing our little hearts out.
Isn't that cute?
It's cute.
It's like me doing stand-up.
Nice. Nicely done.
You just got to get comfortable with it,
Yeah, I get
You
used
gotta
to it,
live
man.
in it. Yeah. So that leaves us with escalate. So, what's the classic U.S. military strategy? You escalate to de-escalate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you keep raising the stakes, like he's saying he's going to do. I'm going to attack your. So that's where we're at. That's kind of where we're at. I'm going to attack your civilian. I'm going to commit war crimes, so that we can back away from that. And then that looks like we negotiated and they didn't get the big thing we threatened them with, except that's not going to work with this regime, which fine. Maybe he truly is talking to someone outside of the regime that actually does have the power. I don't know. I don't believe it. And I would love to be wrong. I really hope I'm wrong with that. Like, it's great. That'd be great if we were wrong. But Scott Bessent, Alan, who is Scott Bessent?
He's the Treasury Secretary.
Why is he the one that's constantly being asked about this on like Face the Nation and Meet the Press? So they bring out the Treasury Secretary and they ask him about it. He's like, well, the U.S. is escalating to de-escalate. It's like, why are you talking about military strategy, Scott Bessent? Like,
yeah, where's Hegseth and Rubio? Like, where are those guys? There's Secretary of State and Secretary of War. You'd think they'd be the ones front and center here.
Well, Rubio's got a lot of jobs, so
it's fair.
He's busy in Cuba negotiating with Raul's drug dealer grandson or whatever. That fucking bullshit. I mean, we don't even have time to talk about Cuba. Marco Rubio is negotiating with the drug dealing son or grandson of Raul Castro. Yeah. I think the reason they talk to Scott Bessent is he's the most serious person in the administration. Like, he goes out there with his dumb, smug voice, and he looks like he's a businessman talking business things. Like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
It's sad because that's a compliment to him, but it's not a compliment to the administration.
It definitely is not.
So we're using a classic military move, escalate to de-escalate, but this time with war crimes. Okay. So we start this war off being strategically ambiguous, not really sure what the fuck is the reason we're going into this war, with the reason for it kind of shifting almost daily. Now we no longer mention some of the primary goals, like causing a revolution or allowing the people to rise up, because it's largely not possible anymore because of all the dead people potentially doing that. And I think we seem to have kind of lost hope on that anyways. So the U.S. is going to find a way to negotiate with Iran, I guess, to open the strait or by using force until they negotiate with us and allow us to leave the conflict. So all of what I'm describing might end up at the end being good enough for the United States, but what's good for the U.S. is not good for that region.
Right.
I'd like to present to you what I think a negotiated settlement could look like.
Okay.
So we have there's a word I haven't been saying. So Iran has been talking about wanting reparations as a part of how things get resolved. So negotiations could have some kind of a financial agreement, we'll say. We're not going to use the R word. They open up the start. Do I have an R word button on here? You said the R. I thought I had R word. The R word is coming to mind, right? Isn't it in here? It's under my left wing people. Well, I stopped the show for that. That wasn't worth it, was it, Alan? So there'll be some kind of a financial agreement with the Iranians, right? And they open up the strait. This in turn will undermine Israel's military strategy because we'll find a way. Any kind of negotiation with Iran has got to undermine Israel's military strategy, but it's going to get us access to the uranium. So if we get access to the uranium, they get their ability. We get the strait opened up. It resolves the nuke crisis, and it hypothetically protects Israel from Iran's nuclear weapons that they never allegedly wanted. And because their whole thing is we're going to build these nukes so we can wipe Israel off the map, right?
Right.
So if we can get the uranium, we get the strait opened back up, there's some kind of a financial agreement with them. And in exchange for all of that, the regime gets to stay in power and they get to put their oil on the market. It kind of reminds me of the end of the Yom Kippur War, where Egypt was like, we totally kicked your ass for a few days, so fuck you, Israel. And Israel was like, yeah, well, we beat the shit out of you, and like we get to go home and be like, haha, we'll have a celebration day. I don't know. What do you think about that? Is that not like that didn't sound wonderful, but like, does that not sound like the best of the bad options in front of us?
It does, and even though it doesn't sound wonderful, it also to me sounds like overly optimistic. I mean, that would be a dream come true.
Yeah.
Well, a dream come true would be that this never happened to begin with, right. But I mean, if that could be negotiated, sure, that'd be amazing. Yeah. That seems really far away, if possible.
Okay, one of the reasons why I don't necessarily have a problem with the idea of, so the stupidest part out of all of that is that the regime stays in power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but how did Iran's power grow over the last 20 years? How would you guess the most? Despite
proxies?
the sanctions. The proxies. And how did the proxies grow over the last few years? Because we decided to go to war with Afghanistan and Iraq. We went to war with Iraq, decimated Iraq. It allowed Iran to dominate all of that
that area,
unrest and and so I mean all of that was wonderful for Iran. Now their proxy network is destroyed. If we leave this war having caused them all of this consequence, and they hold their side of the bargain, we both hold our side of the bargain of what I described. It's not the end of the world. It's not great, but it's not the end of the world. And, if this war ends up being settled and the Gulf states work with Iran to rebuild it, hopefully that causes some kind of a realignment that maybe could shift the power in Iran away from the hardliners. All of this is best case scenario. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, the Qataris just kicked the Iranians out. And the Qataris were sort of being the mediators. So all of the Iranian diplomats that were in Qatar got kicked out, persona non grata, just basically because Iran was lashing out at everybody in the region, including Qatar. So they're like, fuck that, get the hell out of here. And the Qataris had been, not necessarily on Iran's side, but they had been sort of a neutral party. I don't know if there's anybody left in the region that considers Iran as anything but a fucking, a regime that is untenable for their continuing power and dominance. So I don't know how you get them to work together to rebuild Iran, is what I'm saying, given that state of things.
So if there is some kind of a settlement, then they are going to need someone to help rebuild them, and they are going to need to make themselves palatable to the people that may rebuild them. And maybe that's how, look, Trump is foolish to think that you'd get these things short term. This is a long term thing. You said something about 5 years earlier. I'm talking about long term here. Right?
Yeah, I understand.
So Iran's going to want reparations. I think a good version of reparations would be having a toll. Trump thinks that the Strait of Hormuz is going to be controlled by a joint control.
Will Iran still be able to control the flow of oil?
Be jointly controlled.
The fucking pauses this man makes while he talks, right? Like, we made fun of Joe Biden for a long time, and look at this.
The flow of oil?
Be jointly controlled.
By who?
Maybe me. Maybe me.
You want the United States to be
Me and the Ayatollah, whoever the Ayatollah is.
He's making up things while he's talking, right?
Yeah, but it's not like, oh, maybe the U.S. It's me.
Right,
maybe it's me.
Right. Me. Well, the board of piss.
Right. Me and the Ayatollah, whoever the Ayatollah is, whoever the next Ayatollah.
Look, I'm a bullshitter. I know what it feels like to think you had an idea and you start running with it and you get louder, and that's what he's doing.
And it'll also be a form of a very serious form of a regime change. Now, in all fairness, everybody's been killed from the regime. They're really starting off. There's automatically a regime change, but we're dealing.
We already talked about that. Remember when I said that earlier? That's what that sounded like when he says it.
Right.
Fucking, that's weird. Words. So there'll be us and the new Ayatollah, whoever that is, are gonna control. Are gonna control the regime. Control the Strait of Hormuz, which is exciting. So, and maybe to save them some money, they can put a toll booth in, Alan, which reminds me of my favorite scene from Blazing Saddles. Hold on, I gotta do this.
So think of me, Lepidamine Thruway.
Lepidamine Thruway. I'll put it, Alan. Put a finger in Lepidamine.
Okay, all right.
You're not gonna want to do that when I tell you what Lepidamine is.
Lepidamine Thruway. Now what'll that asshole think of next? Is anybody got a dime? I don't have anything. Somebody's got to go back and get a shitload of dimes.
That might be my favorite line of the whole fucking movie. I can't explain why it's so funny to me, but I love that line. So for the first time, Lepidamine, that was that was the governor, right? And this is from Blazing Saddles. So the governor in Blazing Saddles, Mel Brooks' character. Now, I never know why he chose the name Lepidamine. And I was like, let's look up what Lepidamine means. Lepidamine, do a little fun facts here?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Lepidamine was the stage name of Joseph Pujol. Now, did you know Pujol was a French name?
No, I thought it was a Spanish name. They play baseball.
I thought so too. Oh, you know what? Maybe he was Spanish and he lived in France. That makes more sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you think of Mr. Pujol, Albert Pujols, which it was with an S at the end.
Yes.
And you don't need two of them.
No.
Pujols.
One is plenty.
Yeah, one is plenty. Or one for fun and one for okay. This was a would you rather, I think, from earlier in the show. Okay, so Lepetamine was the stage name of Joseph Pujol, a famous French flatulist.
Oh.
Which is a professional farter. Is this what you want, Mary? A farter. Who headlined at the Moulin Rouge in the late 19th centuries. So this means... So the actual translation in French of Lepetamine is the fart-o-maniac. Okay. He used unique abdominal muscle-controlled inhale air and release it to create musical sounds, imitations, and theatrical noises. This is the derivative of the French word péter, Peter, spelled Peter, to fart, and the suffix "main," maniac, it roughly translates to fartomaniac, which makes me think Peter means to fart, which I know Peter means the rock, as in Saint Peter, but Peter means fart. Peter means fart. Lepetamine from Blazing Saddles is referring to the
fartomaniac.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun.
Version. That's a little fun fact. You want to get back to the war? Sure. And we'll go to half soon, I promise, okay?
Okay.
Do you think there's anything Israel can do to draw us back into this? Because it sounds like if we're trying to leave, Israel can be like, oh yeah, well, we have secret nukes. They got a handful of nukes, right?
They
probably
do.
Not. They probably wouldn't, right?
Israel probably wouldn't use their nukes. Is that yeah?
Not to draw us back. If we leave, what would they do to draw us back in?
Oh, I mean, they send Trump that envelope with all the photos of him they have.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Israel's going to be out of control in this region for another 50 years if they have success in Iran and Bibi, or until Bibi's dead, which will be sooner than 50 years.
Yes.
Because he just wants to stay out of prison. We've covered that enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can save this. This is dumb MAGA shit. I don't know. Like, yeah, I could save us this. We'll do
Hidden
this
Track tomorrow.
We'll do the Hidden Track, yeah. Just Pete being a dipshit. Talking about... just talking in dumb terms, being like, well, it costs money to kill bad guys.
Oh, yes. So it wasn't a regime change war, but the regime certainly
we
has
also
changed.
need $200 billion. Also, they're asking for money, but they didn't ask permission for war, right? So they're going to Congress and saying, please give me $200 billion, Mia money now, please. And then they're like, but we didn't come in here and ask you why we would go to war. And then a journalist asked him questions about this in a manner that got him to give a reason that justified it, which would have been what he would have done if he was going to Congress to justify going to war. But it's now because they need money, not because they need permission to war. There.
Sounds right. Okay.
All right. Also, didn't this alcoholic spend like $100 billion on pianos and ice cream? Was it 100 million? I don't remember. And just to save us all the time, Beetlejuice enthusiast says no. She says no. She's like, no. We give hand jobs at Beetlejuice movies, musicals, but
no
we
Reiki, no
Reiki, no Reiki for war. Okay, that saved us a lot of time. I think it's notable that Trump has made it impossible for European leaders and allies to actually do things in their best interest because it would take them agreeing with Donald Trump and working with this administration. Can you talk about that without me being so long-winded? Do you know where I'm going with that?
So
we didn't consult with him first before we went to war.
Right.
And now we're like, you better come help us open this strait.
And they are enduring the consequences of the strait being closed, right? They're actually probably...
Yeah, but they're like, I can't... Yeah, so it's going to... In the long run, they will have to.
They're feeling the brunt of it probably definitely more than we are, right? Yeah. The LNG, the petrol products, all that, a lot of it goes to them, right? So if they were to truly act in their own interest and say, look, this is killing us, we need to reopen the strait, they would then have to cooperate with us, which they don't want to do.
Right.
Yes.
So we've created a condition where the European allies can't just make hard decisions in their own best interest because it involves partnering with us, which is bad for us. It makes us look bad, and it's bad for them, right? Like, it's bad for them, and it makes us look bad. But they can't just do things in their own best interest.
It's bad for everybody. Yeah.
And like you just said, and Trump can't even walk away from this because he's terrified of whatever Bibi's got in that thing that said he fucked a 13-year-old or whatever. The DOJ at least covered it up, right?
Yeah, I don't know if the Israelis are going to cover it up, though, if they need them.
Which brings us back to oil prices. So the UN is no. I saw the letters UN. We've unsanctioned oil on Iran.
Right.
You need to talk, or I'll use too many words.
So not only we already unsanctioned Russian oil, and now we unsanctioned Iranian oil. So
While we're at war with Iran.
Right. Just to be clear, we just removed sanctions from the country we were at war with, and
which will
sanctions.
see them get $14 billion in profits.
Yeah, because there was a price cap, and a lot of countries.
Do you remember when Donald Trump led the charge on the right, saying that Obama gave him $1.5 billion as a part of the JCPOA?
Mm-hmm. I do remember that. Yeah,
this is 14.
Seems a lot more. It
does seem like more. I don't want to get into
but you can buy a lot of Shahed drones with that much money.
Oh my God, yeah. I bet Russia would. Well, that's actually what's really fun. Okay, so and who would he buy those from? He'd buy them from Russia, or I guess from themselves, but they probably would have trouble building them right now. So he'd probably get them from Russia. So here's Caitlin Collins interviewing Scott Perry, Representative Scott Perry, Republican Representative Scott Perry.
I think some people might say, why would you ease sanctions on a country that the United States is currently at war with? How would you answer that?
Well, I would answer that. Do you think that Iran is, once that oil arrives wherever its destination is, do you think that Iran's getting the check? Do you think they're going to be able to get the money?
Yes.
The money's probably going to come to the United States of America.
I like how Trump was like, she doesn't smile enough, but she's always smirking.
Right?
How are they getting the money? Is it being wired by China and by India to what bank in Iran? And if there is a bank in Iran, in about 15 minutes, it can be gone.
But that is what's happening. I mean, that is who's buying their oil.
You say that. Yeah.
So hypothetically, the people they're buying it from are wiring money back to them. How?
Yes.
With accounts?
Yeah. Digital assets.
The ships at sea, right? And you're saying the president's considering reducing sanctions for that oil because the payment's never going to get to Iran. That's pre-war. We're into this 20 days, Caitlin. We're into this 20 days. I mean, everything has changed. They don't even have an internet in Iran right now.
Well,
you think somebody's going to the ATM? We can't even find. We can't even find the so-called supreme leader. Is he alive? Does he have a leg? Is he in a coma?
I thought it was going to be a real quick clip of how stupid this guy is. Like, look, there's another minute of him being dumb and her being smart and combative.
They have a Square account, sir. Have you heard of this?
Have you heard about this?
Tap to pay.
Yeah, Venmo.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that was way better than I thought.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. You'd think that all the anti-Semites on the right would love to see Iran get enough money to wipe Israel off the map. You think they'd be cheering for this? No, no. It's different. There's two different factions.
Different.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that takes us to what I wanted to ask you to go to half. So something you talked about earlier, you weren't specific enough, so it allowed me to say the rest of it here. Qatar says that it's going to take like 5 years and $20 billion to fix the natural gas plant that was blown up last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to think that all those trillions of dollars that those countries promised to invest in the U.S. isn't going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
So I can't remember which one of these assholes was the ones that gave us a jet, but I'm starting to think that $400 million airplane might have been the worst invested bribe since Stalin gave Hitler the fuel for the tanks that invaded Russia. Come on, halftime. Do it.
Sounds right.
This is the B-side of our platter, sports fans. And I'm singing just for you, covered in sequins.
In the canyons of your mind, I will wander through your brain to the ventricles of your heart, my dear. I'm in love with you again. Cross the mountains of your chest, I will stick a Union Jack to the forest of your cheek, through the holes in your string bag.
Should help us build. I got that Bee Gees song in my head. Man, I sure hope this kimono hasn't parted. I have a cell phone in a pocket, so it keeps pulling to one side.
Oh,
there it goes. Kimono pocket.
I haven't noticed anything.
Natasha got sued. Speaking of kimonos, Alan.
Oh, yes.
Natasha went to Rock and Roll Sushi.
Nice.
I got some delicious sushi, but she didn't bring me chopsticks, so I have to eat it with a fork like a fucking savage.
Man.
That's okay. Welcome back. Welcome back to the second half of the show, Alan.
Yes. Glad to be back.
Let's see. I had a little thing here. Did you listen to the Knowledge Fight? I know you've been on vacation. Did you listen to the Knowledge Fight where Alex Jones was drunk on Tim Pool's show?
I started it. I haven't finished it. I'm only like.
Well,
20.
you got a little bit into it. Then you heard Alex Jones going off on Joe Rogan, right? Save it if you know where I'm going with it. Do you remember?
I didn't get that far. No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You didn't hear him calling Joe Rogan a pussy?
No.
You didn't hear any of this?
No.
Okay, now I have to give away the punchline first, because I'm already here. So yeah, he was drunk on Tim Pool's podcast, and like nobody in the Tim Pool operation was like, "Hey, this isn't right. Like this is bad for him. We should probably like care for him."
Of course not.
So they just like let him just be a raving maniac, and I mean, it was like vintage Jones. Right? Like it was actually kind of, as someone who doesn't like him, it was kind of fun to watch him like be his worst self again.
Okay. Yeah, because he hasn't been drinking that much.
Spot, man. He's in a bad spot right now. Yes, he hasn't been drinking, and he is now, and his business is allegedly gone. We'll see. I don't know. We haven't seen him in a while.
All self-inflicted wounds.
They are. I agree. I mean, I don't have sympathy for him, but
sure.
I can watch somebody going through something and be like, "Ooh, I wish I didn't have to see."
Sure. Yeah.
I am not seeing actual Schadenfreude through it.
I was going to ask that. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I am, but I still don't like to see it. I don't know. Like, not enough. Like,
doesn't feel good. Yeah.
It doesn't feel good. Yeah. But that's not my point. So he has this whole thing where Joe Rogan on his show was saying maybe it's not a good idea while you're at war with Iran to have a UFC fight with possibly lax security on the White House steps for the American 250th anniversary. That would be a pretty huge target for
massive
a terrorist
opportunity. Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe you can be extra secure and you can pull that off. And I actually would bet on America being able to pull it off. But Joe's like, why would you do this? And did you not think this through? I guess you thought it would be over. Obviously, they thought it would be over by then, right? And no consequences by then because they don't think long term. The guy doesn't wear a condom when he fucks a sex worker. So it's not surprising he doesn't think long term. And because Joe said that, Alex, when he's drunk, was saying, well, if we need shelter, we'll all just huddle under Joe Rogan's giant pussy. And he like wouldn't stop talking about it. Like minutes would go by and then you'd be like, well, we'll be safe under Joe Rogan's pussy. It was kind of funny.
Was he remote or was he on location?
He was in person. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He looked
That's
like
even
shit.
better.
Yeah. Yeah. And like people that don't like pay attention to him, like me and you do, were like, what happened to him? What's wrong with Alex? It's like, oh, he hasn't been drinking and now he's drunk. Like this is this is easy one.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, actually in the middle of it, he had like a coughing fit where he like looked like he was dying. And then he goes, while he's coughing, he's like, oh, I'm dying. And you're like, actually, I don't know. You don't look healthy,
Right.
They even in front of, like, right after he left, they were like, Tim Pool was like, he was a lot heavier than I thought. And they were like, yeah, like, I thought he'd lost weight. He's like, no, he's still kind of heavy. Like, it was weird. Like, I don't know. It was, it certainly wasn't like, they were friendly, but it wasn't what friends do. Like, a friend wouldn't let you do that. Like,
right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wow. I'm looking forward to the rest of that episode. All right.
Not how I anticipated. I was just going to say, Trump uses national security as a lot of reasons for the things he does. And, from election security to tariffs, he says national security is the reason we have tariffs. And national security is the reason where you don't get to have fair elections, free elections, right? We got to have ID cards and stuff. Not ID cards. We all have ID cards. You have to go get a passport. That's different. He says that he can't stop construction on the east wing of the White House because it's a national security reason. The reason for it being a national security, part of the so like people have tried to sue him to stop tearing apart the White House, and he's like, well, I can't do it now because there's a bunker under the east wing, and if we stop the construction, so is what he's saying that if they stop construction, it would imperil the president? Like, is the implication that while construction is ongoing, the bunker's inaccessible and they have to finish the construction. So is that telling everybody that while you're going to have the UFC fight at the White House, that the president's bunker is not
accessible?
I mean, they've said that that's their argument in court, is that it would imperil the president to not hurry up and finish the construction.
Because everybody will know that we have a bunker. Yeah, okay.
It sounds like he said, no, we don't have a bunker, so we have to hurry up out loud.
That's right.
Instead, that turned into a conversation about Alex Jones being drunk on Tim Pool. Let's talk about voting.
Okay.
So one thing that came out over the last week is there is no deal on budget for Transportation Security Act until the Save Erica Act passes. Until the Save Act passes, aka the Save America Act. They call it the Save America Act, Save Act. It's the Save Act. It was called the Save Act. Trump was like, this has got no traction. You need to do some bullshit to make them like it. So it's not just the Save Act, it's the Save America Act. And he threw in on top of that, it also means no trans people ever. Like, it was just weird shit. By the way, they voted on the trans people stuff over the weekend. It failed. Or maybe last week it failed. But what's really going on, and the second thing we're going to talk about is ICE, but I just want to talk about voting first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the Save America Act, he's saying that we won't have airport theater until we have excessive ID requirements passed for voting, right? Mm-hmm. And so some form of voting ID I think is understandable. Like if you told me that the voting ID would mean like your driver's license was enough, I could be persuaded to it, because to say you don't have a driver's license or some kind of an ID, I think that's a loser argument. I think that, yes, you're asking for some, because people think they got a no-brainer on this. They're like, well, you need an ID to buy a beer, don't you? You need an ID to drive a car. Well, those aren't constitutional rights. You have a right to vote. So to put an impediment between that, I have a problem with. Now, I do get the common sense that we should be able to prove who you are. But you go to your polling place, you say your name, and they put you down, and you're on their list. That's how you've proven that by prior registering, then you do that. So now they want you to go and register in person with a more fancy form of ID and not a driver's license. So it's not a driver's license. All the people that make these arguments, I've seen congressmen that are pushing this to go through. People in the Senate that want this to go through are saying, well, you need an ID to vote, or you need an ID to buy a beer, you need an ID to drive. Right. The form of ID that you're talking about is not acceptable under the SAVE Act to vote.
So you have to have more than just any old real ID.
You can't even have a real ID, which is what they say you need to get on a fucking plane.
Right.
So you have to get the passport, and that's the whole issue, right? And then people say, well, it sounds like you're excluding women who've changed their name, which they say disproportionately affects Democratic voters. I say not having a passport probably affects rural voters more. I think that might wash out. I would say more women have passports that are liberal than rural voters in general have passports. Do you follow my math there? Did I say that in a way that makes sense?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. It is a hunch. That's just a hunch. But I before we get too far off of this, there is a thing that I want to make an argument for not. There's a reason why we don't want you to have to give your name and address to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to do with American history. So a black voter would go in when they finally got the ability to vote, and they'd go to a polling place ran by white people, and they would say, here's my name. And they're like, okay, well, give me your address. You give them their address. That person remembers it. As soon as you turn around, they write it down. And then they go and they lynch your family. Those are things. That was a part of American history. Yeah. So there's a reason why we've resisted this. And I think that it's a loser argument to say poor black people, and that's an argument that liberals always use. Only black people are poor, and only poor black people don't have the ability to vote. And we only think we'll win elections if we have poor black people voting for us. That's a stupid statement. The reality of the history is the thing to talk about. We don't need you on the time that you're voting to give that person running that who you are and them the ability to retaliate against you. That's the reason for this. It's a security reason. And the elections are secure. There are statistically zero instances of voter fraud. What's the joke? There's been more Cleveland Brown quarterbacks in the last 20 years than there have been incidents of illegal immigrant voting.
Right, which actually, so I've said this many times on the show. I'll say
Can I eat some sushi?
Sure, I'll say it again. So historically, all of these things, voting taxes, like, the requirement of ID, the requirement of you had to pass an IQ test, whatever, all those things, right? They were all put in place to prevent people that the ruling elite didn't want to participate politically, right? Whether it was poor black people or poor white people or whatever, right? It was all to disenfranchise people and prevent them from using their constitutional right to vote, to participate in our political system. That's what it was always for. And to your point that you just made, which I was going to make, this is solving a problem which does not exist. There is no evidence of voting fraud, and there have been studies by conservative think tanks that go back decades and decades coming through all this data. It just doesn't exist.
When did this come up? 2020, when Donald Trump lost to Joe Biden, he wouldn't accept him. And then when he won in 2024, he's like, "Oh, I would have won by more." There was still he created this. He sowed the seeds of voting fraud, and then and you're only just use your brain. You're only seeing this by someone who's afraid of the consequences of an actual fair election. If they can't do something to rig it by saying that Democrats cheat, so they lie without any proof and say Democrats cheat.
Oh, he's
and then
terrified.
They say, "Go ahead."
He's terrified of these midterms. I mean, if the Democrats...
There's a rumor that there's 10 Senate Republicans that would vote for an impeachment right now. As it's currently constituted, there's 10 Republicans that are like, fuck this administration.
Yeah, and so if the Democrats take back the House and even a few extra seats in the Senate, then...
That's enough for an impeachment.
That's enough for an
It
impeachment.
won't be Mitch McConnell being like, I think he's learned his lesson, guys.
No. And then if he's impeached, he no longer has presidential immunity. And then, a DOJ that's not controlled by MAGA can then go after him again. Now,
unless it was a presidential act.
Right. Now, he is a very old man, and it's possible that the next president, if it is a Democrat and they have the control of the House and Senate, might be like, look, let's just move on, let's just reconcile and try and reunite the country, which fuck that. But if that happens, then he gets away scot-free, right? But he's terrified of what could happen if he loses in the midterms and then loses in obviously he's not
one of the
in
things that's going to change if they do pass the SAVE Act is that they would get rid of mail-in votes. Well, he wants to get rid of mail-in ballots entirely. Right. I will point out he cast a mail-in vote on the special election in Florida that just happened that they lost in Mar-a-Lago, that the Democrat won. That's huge news, by the way.
It is.
That's happened while we're recording. But he calls it mail-in cheating. Like, it's just like, but so what it really says is, no, I'm conflating two stories. The Supreme Court is considering agreeing that they'll stop the count at the time that they can't count, even if you postmarked a mail-in ballot on election day.
That comes in after the election's closed.
It won't get counted.
Yeah,
which I don't think that's right, but you know what? Fine, just do your if you're going to mail it in, don't do it the day of. How's that? That's not hard. Like, do you really need until that day to decide whether you're going to vote for Kamala Harris or Joe?
Constitutionally, the states run the elections, and if the states want to count those votes, they should be allowed. They should be allowed to. Of course, yeah.
So let's talk about that. So, I think that's the real concern here. I personally don't really mind if states pass voter ID laws. There are states that have them. Michigan has one. I think Virginia has one. Virginia has, I think, non-photo ID.
Required, or they give you a voter card or something?
It's a non-photo ID. Tennessee, I think, has a voter card too. I remember getting one and being like, better not lose this. And then I go to vote and I didn't need it. So I don't know. Like, you look like a nice white gentleman. So I don't really mind if states want to have voter ID laws. My fear would be federalized elections, right? And federalized elections means that the Department of Justice, aka the Trump family law firm, would be in charge of the elections.
Right.
But when you look at Republicans, even MAGA Republicans, they'll tell you that they don't want that either, because they know that it's a matter of time until President AOC is in charge of federal elections. That terrifies them, which tells you what Trump's actual fears are, right? He just doesn't want to he is doing all of this to put doubt in people's mind. He's just a merchant of doubt on this. He just needs people to not trust the election so that, because you know what, I this is something you said before. All he wants is to have a vote on this and a failure on this, so that they can say it's Democrats' fault. That just what you said before, right? Uh-oh. I think we just had a power outage. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
Are you okay? What was that? You okay? Did something happen electrically? Because there was a beep in here. Do you need help? She says she's okay.
Okay.
Did you get electrocuted?
No. It sounded like I heard a beep and I heard like a fuck or something like that.
Okay.
But I'm glad I used something attached to plastic because it was actually very unsafe.
All right. Can it?
Broke off the mushroom.
The cat did something?
Yeah.
Is it still alive?
The cat?
Yeah.
Oh shit! More of a pause than I expected.
Tosh, is the cat okay? Jesus Christ. Hey, when I say is the cat okay and you pause like that.
Jesus. I was worried about the cat, man.
Okay, but you're physically all right? Okay, I love you. Can I see you in a little bit about this? I can fix that. Don't worry about that, okay? All right, love you.
So what I had said before was that he's gonna have the vote on the SAVE Act. The Dems are not going to allow it to pass, and then he's going to claim there's fraud later and blame it on the Democrats and use that as another wedge, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then that gives them a test run for 28, right? Because this all happens here in the midterms.
Yep.
Worst case scenario, should they lose the midterms, right? Or it gives them a chance to fight in the midterms too. I'm a little frazzled by that. I hope she says she's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is actually what we're talking about on this. This is a transition in the next subject. So this is Senator John Kennedy, not that John Kennedy. So if you remember, Trump said that he wouldn't sign anything that passes through both houses unless they pass the SAVE Act. But he said, like, with the exception of TSA budget. And then he corrected that. He's like, no, I'm not going to do anything until you pass the SAVE Act. Because he thinks that's going to make them do it. I don't think they're going to do it, because that means they don't have the votes. So it's going to require a filibuster being removing the filibuster, which is a permanent thing, right?
And they're afraid to do that. They don't want to do that.
Right, because the Democrats regret getting rid of the judicial filibuster. Am I saying this right?
Yes.
And so then again, you're going to give that to President AOC.
Senator Cruz and I came up with a plan. We said, look, it's a two-step process. The Democrats have offered to open up everything but ICE. Ted and I said, okay, let's accept their offer. And then...
Which ICE is the one that has all the budget. The ICE doesn't need the budget. ICE got the super budget on the... Yeah. So, but who isn't get a budget is TSA. So the Democrats and Republicans made a deal that they had agreed on to get the budget for TSA so that the airport can have staffed, their staff, have them paid, and then have them not incentivized to call out for work, which is really the problem right now, is they're calling out for work.
Right.
Conveniently, it's a sunny weekend. I get it. Oh my God. Atlanta airport had 40% of their staff, or their TSA call out this last weekend. I'm the dumbass on call working 15-hour days. It was beautiful out. Natasha was getting a tan in the backyard.
At the same time, we would offer a bill for reconciliation where we don't need any Democratic votes to do whatever we wanted to do with ICE. And that way we're out of the shutdown and DHS is back open.
That is a Republican wish list. Like there is no world where Trump should not be thrilled that they got that.
Absolutely. Yes.
But he needs the SAVE Act to pass so that he doesn't get butt fucked in this next election.
Right.
We submitted that. Senator Thune submitted that to President Trump, as is his right. He said no. No deals with the Democrats. It would have worked. We could have had TSA paid by the end of the week.
So this is exactly like the border. He wants to put pain on the American citizens and say it's the Democrats that did it. But there is no reality where it's the Democrats' fault that people are waiting in these lines. I asked, Mima just flew out of Houston. Mima said that I guess we're talking about it now, right? Mima flew out of Houston. He says he has clear, so it was easy for him. But people were waiting 4-hour lines. People showed up at 2 a.m. for a 6 a.m. flight and they missed it.
Jesus.
Could you imagine that? I'm terrified. I'm flying in a month and a half. They better have this shit in order. I
So
don't know
am
if they
I.
will the way this is going, right? Well, shit. So you're going to be here sooner than that. Yeah, just a little bit sooner. So, like, talking about that, actually, do you have anything about that? Like, talk about that before I play this dumb clip of Trump at the tarmac.
Well, can I talk about ICE being deployed a little bit into these, or
Okay,
later?
that's where we're going to go with it. So this brings us more into ICE deployments.
Okay.
They asked Trump about it on the tarmac for Air Force One, and his response was, "Somebody invented the paperclip." I'm not lying.
Whose idea was that? When ICE at the airport.
We're dealing really. Mine. That was mine. That was like the paperclip. You know the story of the paperclip? 182 years ago, a man discovered the paperclip. It was so simple.
Discovered.
And everybody that looked at it say, why didn't I think of that? ICE was my idea.
The invention of the paperclip, just like putting ice in airports, everyone, makes perfect sense to our president. Just the genius. First off, let's fact check a few things. Paperclip was not discovered. It was invented. I know
found it in a
probably doesn't
cave.
know the difference between those two words. Yes, it was invented. It had to be patented. It wasn't 180 plus years ago. It was closer to 127 years ago. This is a good idea, insufficient.
All right, I was just chewing. That's why I hadn't said anything else. You don't get it. What is he sitting 182? Is he a Blink fan? Like last year was like, oh, it's 181 years since the paperclip. Next year is 183. God knows some guy discovered the paperclip, and I'm constantly doing that math. Like he's just making shit up, and like nobody ever calls him out for just making shit up. And when they do call him out, it's like, well, you got Trump derangement syndrome to even care. Like it's insane. No normal person fucking does this, and he's not just some abnormal person. He's the fucking president. It drives me crazy. And then that just brings us back to this, right? So why did he could have chose any law enforcement agency.
Right.
He chose ICE for a reason. One, ICE has a budget. Two, he knows it's a good stunt. And honestly, it is a good stunt because you're not going to have people out there with whistles and bullhorns and dressed up in frog suits at the fucking airport. That's actually, you got to give him credit there. That is a good fucking stunt. That is smart. That is a good upside. The downside, ICE is there getting paid while TSA is not getting paid. And the entire time they're there, there's that contrast, right? So the people that are there, so Homan says, Homan, who's in charge of this, is saying that they're going to be there to guard the entrance and the exits. They're not there to actually operate screening equipment and do stuff like that. But the Transportation Secretary, reality TV star of Real World 3 in Boston, Patrick Duffy. No,
Sean.
Damn
Duffy.
it, Patrick Duffy's from Step by Step. Sean Duffy says that they could actually start running those scanning equipments, which really leads, I'm going somewhere with this. That means untrained D students are going to be in charge of screening and actually catching bombs, while TSA only gets 50% on a good day, right? Like TSA fails constantly at this, and it's going to get worse by putting these guys at 47 days of training with lack of de-escalation training in a fucking pressure cooker. The airport,
not
right?
TSA training, by the way. Training to do the actual job.
Right.
Yeah.
And they didn't get the full training of get their actual job. They got the abbreviated version of that.
Right.
And all I'm saying is if your job can be replaced by an ICE officer, it's probably time we abolish TSA. Because what prevented another 9/11 to happen? Actually, why did 9/11 happen in the first place? Because they didn't have cockpit doors, which we have now, and there was intelligence failures. That's why 9/11 happened, and they've addressed that. And nothing that TSA is doing is preventing it. It's all fucking theater. Like I said, every time they do a test on it, they're lucky if they get 50% or better on there. And like that's why I'm like, I'm put my fucking water bottle in there. We'll just roll the dice. It's a good chance I'll just shit, they got me. I got to go chug my water out. Like. You can't tell me that private security wouldn't be better. Sodexo could be running this better. And you know what? SFO Do you know SFO uses private security for their airport?
I didn't know that. No.
At the end of the day, it's still under federal oversight. But yeah, the screeners and the employees are from a private company called Covenant Aviation Security. So then why am I seeing footage from SFO where ICE officers are detaining some woman? That was the first thing we saw. Was ICE officers.
Yeah.
So we're sending officers. So what's the whole reason this is happening, Alan?
Because
there's no funding for TSA,
Right.
and to supplement the TSA security on the outside of the building, not the screening, we're going to have extra ICE officers there. So they're sending ICE officers to one that already has people. Those people are all getting paid. All the people at SFO are getting paid. So they're doing is a fucking stunt. And your proof is that they're sending resources to places that are already getting plenty
that
of
don't
funding.
need it.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you seen the videos of these ICE officers?
Oh,
Just
by the way,
fucking-
that lady had outstayed. Or she had an existing removal notice. It's not the point.
Okay. Have you seen the videos of these ICE officers just kind of wandering around, playing with their phones?
Not doing nothing. They don't have nothing to do. Yeah, I've seen them giving out water bottles at a fucking airport, Alan. They're giving people in a security lot the liter of cola size water bottles.
Right.
They got a chug, and now they're stuck in a line. So there's one. So you either need the water because you're going to be in a line all day, but now you drink too much water, you got to piss your pants, you can't get out of line.
Right. Can you imagine how pissed you'd be if you'd gone to work for 2 months straight without being paid?
As a TSA agent?
Yeah. And you actually have to do stuff and do work, and you watch these fucks walk around with their guns on their phones just
Their
chilling.
signing bonus.
While they're getting paid. I'd be fucking livid, dude. Like, I would, yeah.
Also, this is all because they won't pass a budget that includes language about them not wearing masks.
Yeah.
It's funny to see them not wear masks at the airport, though, right? So they're actually there, like scratching their face. Like it's like, whoa, you guys look like dipshits. Like I see why you're wearing masks. Like, so it's all over masks. So like, let me just get this straight. So reasons in my lifetime that I've seen armed soldiers at an airport: 9/11.
Yep.
And Republicans not wanting to pass a budget unless it allows mass agents to shoot you in the face in your minivan.
Sounds right.
Or 10 times in the back, one of the two. 3 times in a minivan or 10 times in the back.
Yeah.
All for. Is TSA going to wear masks after this? No. I almost said things I regret. Okay. All right. I think actually somehow we covered all of that very quickly.
All right.
Did fine on time. There was 5-hour lines at Atlanta's airport, and then Bull Moose said a thing like the lines got 40 minutes shorter. Well, there you go. It's only 4 hours and 20 minutes. That's a
win.
How is that? Tell me how this works. Tell me how having ICE agents running security outside the airports makes the line shorter. It doesn't, right?
It doesn't.
No. Like that's the thing that's pissing me off. And pulling them out of line is going to make pulling people out of line that are here illegally, or they suspect, right? Because they suspect are here illegally. That's going to make the lines shorter.
No.
Also, Homan is the architect of the family separation policy from the first administration.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to see is screaming children. That's what we're going to see at airports. It's doing nothing.
Nothing but bad.
It can only
only bad can happen.
I have that one, Alan. God damn it. It's the same spot.
Nothing good can happen. It can only bad happen.
Did I hit the right one? I just picked.
Yeah, you did.
They're next to each other. I just have notes, making sure I got to everything. Oh, among the people that got caught in the long security lines were the Transportation Safety TSB investigators. They were trying to get to that crash at LaGuardia. I know that'll be one of your headlines, right?
Yes.
Okay. We could talk about it there. Somehow it's Joe Biden's fault, though, I'm sure. I think this whole stunt, I'm getting all worked up for the reasons we've described, I think justifiably, but all of this, I think, is ultimately so that Bannon can so that they can use this is a test run, right? This is a test run for how they can use them out. This is not a normal application. The Atlanta airport isn't where you would think that you send immigration enforcement, right? So this is just a test run for how they can use ICE going into the elections and the midterms.
Okay.
You don't think so? I mean, I thought that would be a for sure. I have to sell it. Now I have to sell it. I don't know how to sell it. So what they're going to find is the ways that people challenge it They'll see what the courts do, how the courts react to the arguments. They'll see what the arguments are for why people say it's illegal. It's also just the logistics of deploying it and using it in that manner. You just replace airports with voting locations.
Right. It's just velociraptors testing the fence. What you're
exactly. Yeah. Okay. We are late in the show, so the hidden track tomorrow will be Stephen Miller ass kissing and Trump trying to one up it. This is a week old, but Donald Trump talking about surprise attacks with Japan.
Yeah.
The people going on to meet the press, everybody in the Trump administration is basically doing. You remember Freedom Fries?
I do.
They're going to start replacing gas with Freedom Fuel. If you're a real patriot, you're going to gas up your truck. Trump saying, if you think things are bad now, you would have hated me the way I thought things were going to be. He really said something almost exactly like that. You know what? I'll do this one here now. So this is like best of the Trump cult. Robert Mueller died, and Trump said, good, I'm glad he's dead. And everybody got bent out of shape. Just take a breather. I don't think you have anything on the record before you put anything out on the record, before I have anything out on the record. Take a breather, because you don't want him to box you into a corner for how you are supposed to react when somebody dies, right? This day is going to come one of these days, and we're going to be saying something just like that. So I don't need it on record that you don't talk like that. And then, yeah, so
fair.
I don't know if people thought about that, right? Yeah, we'll save the Mark Wayne Mullen got through, not Mark Twain. But I'm sure that's in your headlines too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about there. Fetterman was the tie-breaking vote. Well, that really leaves us with only a couple of things. Let's do, as is tradition, let's head on over to the media bias offender of the week and see if they
it's
have
been updated.
All right.
Perhaps it doesn't look promising.
Capitol attack.
God damn it.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device.
All right. Well, CNN is still doing it. Okay, so then I actually have a clip to end the show.
Okay.
If you're not Donald Trumped out, I think this one's a fun one, okay?
All right.
So Donald Trump. Oh, remember all those clips were him outside of Air Force One?
Yes.
That we've been playing.
Fight?
That was because he was flying to Memphis for something. And so he went to Memphis, he went to Graceland, which to both, honestly, I'm not the biggest Elvis fan. But when you think of Elvis, how far down the list of things about Elvis do you go before you say karate?
Oh, it's pretty
not too far, right?
It's pretty up
close to
there.
the top,
Yeah.
So impacted colon, 40-pound colon, right? 40-pound colon. Light bulbs in the pool,
right?
Scylla.
The sandwich with the
Hamburger
peanut
James. Oh, yeah. The
one that had the karate patch on it. Elvis had two 8th degree.
Oh no. Okay, spoiled it a little bit. So I think that they're giving this guitar to Trump. I'm not sure. So they're describing, this is like a museum curator. Like, she knows all the Elvis facts. She knows everything about this guitar, basically, right? So Trump is very bored, and he's being presented a guitar. He obviously doesn't care about that, and I don't know that he cares about Elvis. But the subject of karate comes up. So naturally, the age-old question of, could I beat Elvis in a fight?
Of course.
One that had the karate patch on it. Elvis had two 8th degree black belts in karate. One was in Kempo, and that's what this patch is.
So Trump asked the reasonable question, was like, is he really good at it, or they just got to give him the 8th degree? I mean, like, we all assume that.
I could get one of those tomorrow, honestly.
Was he really good, or was it just...
Actually, he was really...
Was it just like me getting out of Vietnam?
Yes,
or was it just...
Actually, he was really good. He started practicing...
Could I have taken him in a fight?
I don't know, you might.
I think he would have been respectful enough to let you win.
Yes, he probably would.
He would let me win.
Yes, he probably would.
But he and Bruce Lee really brought...
Really?
Yeah.
But
he and Bruce Lee really brought...
Really? He actually, like, they was like, he fought Bruce Lee like Chuck Norris, Alan?
Just like Chuck Norris.
Just like Chuck Norris. The age-old question, can I beat Elvis in a fight? All right, well, I think that just leaves us with... if you enjoyed this fine program, head on over to Nuntaken. Okay. Whoa. If you enjoyed this fine program, head on over to nuntaken.horse to support the program. Otherwise, we'll be back next week with some more dumb bullshit.
Cheers. That was
I'm not on the right button. I should have been prepared. Jesus.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Maggie Linda.
Jeeves, bring me the battery acid.
You can hear this, right?
When a guy's banging you,
Y'all let me in his damn house.
oh, how about that?
Come in the name of peace.
LMFAO. So what in the world is this?
Trump's pee-pee.
Why would you say something that stupid?
I come without explanations or solutions.
I'm a very sexy lady, cat turd. I will not suffer this harlot.
How great! An anti-American Marxist!
Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
Read the news.
China is asshole!
God bless the United States.
Podcasting.
Now you drive safe.
Cheers. That was fun.
Maga Delinda Est. Scared me. I was like, hold on, you can hear this, right? Stop recording. Okay.